Oh, they ready.
Was ist es? Was ist es? Crib until you bust it, it is what it is. Check side, I keep pushing out, man. I feel like I would probably need surgery just for me to do a lot, you know. I'm small, trying to break it back 100 years from now, I got my pocket froze. All these niggas want a head tap, I did more damage off a bucket. I can hit you off the iPhone, shit, let me hit you off the lock phone. Niggas gotta be around here, don't swivel cause we are not alone. Niggas gotta be around ice on the same shit like we fucking too.
What it is you really do.
I don't miss. I don't miss. I don't motherfucking miss, do I? It's nothing but net. I don't motherfucking miss. It's right for the head. Did I or did I not motherfucking call it? Did I or did I not motherfucking call it a year ago? Almost 2 years ago. When we first analyzed the Drake and Kendrick beef. I let it sit for about a couple of days. I let it sit for a couple of days just to let more information come out. I let it sit for a couple of days. Just to see. I was like, all right, you know what? I don't need to do an album review. Because when he dropped the other two albums, I was like, wait a minute. He put two other albums out? Oh, shit, we reviewed them too. But then it came out a couple days ago that the nigga dropped it because he had fulfilled the album obligation. I said, ah ha ha. So we gonna get into all that. But if you don't know, now you know. I'm your host with the motherfucking most. Chill motherfucking Murray. You are now tuned to live from the spot. Shout out to everybody tuned in, not tuned in. You know how we do and how we rock. What's going on, DJ Big Gang? The Mind's Eye, Icon Funny. Love who I'm becoming. I know that's right. Me too. Flash White. What's going on? What's going on with y'all? Spelled out a monthly gang. Janet, shut the fuck up. It's my damn shebang. That's what I'm saying. Like, let me just also say this, right? Because I think I was very clear when I said that regardless of how you feel about the boy, because I couldn't help but say to myself, I was like, damn, Triple X is turning over in his grave right now, me dancing the shebang. Triple X, I'm sorry, Triple X. I apologize, Triple X Tentacion. I apologize, everybody. I apologize. I had to stop myself bopping. I was like, shit. Shit. You can't front, yo. Life of a sneaker mama. What's going on? You can't front. Regardless of what you want to say about the boy can make some good music, can't he? And the thing that I did appreciate about this was that the fact that he actually did do all this on his own. And I kept saying that when we was reviewing it the night of. I said, yo, this feels like he invested his own money. This doesn't feel like the UMG had any, and I mean anything remotely to do with this album. It does not feel like a label made album. This feels like Drake getting off everything he needed to get off on his fucking chest. And he did it in album form. And the other two were just throwaways that he wanted to just throw out there for the album. But he also realized that he has an international audience to appeal to. Yeah, see, National Treasure, Dave, you know what I'm talking about. What's going on, David? National Treasure, that joint I just played in the beginning, that shit slap. I don't care what nobody's. That shit slap. That beat is crazy. That beat, the way that shit drop is.
Out in the six, I'm a national treasure. Out in the six, I'm a national treasure. The niggas that bad me gon' bad me forever. R.B. Kobe, but y'all niggas brokey. That's probably why y'all be shacking together.
Like, he snapped on that. You cannot front on him with that. He snapped on that shit. There's a couple of records he was snapping on. Regardless of what happened, he came back swinging. Say what you want. He came back swinging. But we are also going to get to the fact that he came back swinging at ghosts. He came back swinging at ghosts. He's chasing that ghost. We're going to get into that ghost that he's chasing, unfortunately, that he doesn't realize he's chased. See, everybody got their favorites from the album. That's what I'm saying. Do you think UMG will pay him more to stay? Yeah, see, that's the other thing we're going to get into Icon Vani. They can't. Like, he literally pulled the rug out from under UMG. With the release of the 3 albums that night, he fulfilled his contractual agreement, so he immediately became a free agent as of that evening. But what people didn't know is he already had negotiations with a private equity firm. We're going to get into that as well. So that song, and I kept thinking about that song that 21 said, Bees on the Table, Bees on the Table. That boy got $2 billion on the table for him right now. Like I said, he pretty much pulled a Michael Jackson. And I think there's going to be bad results of that. So let's get into everything. So, all right. So where should we start first? All right. So on the last one, right? I believe I had explained to you. I might as well just get into the cover of, or should I say the post that I made earlier of Rob Ford. The Mayor Rob Ford back in Canada. Reason why I posted that picture is because on the last episode I had talked about how you believe that is $2 billion. Yeah, it's $2 million. It's $2 million. I mean, what's going on? I'm gonna show y'all in a second. But where was I? Yeah, so pretty much the necklace that you saw in the video for, I believe it was Make Them no. Let me go to my history real quick. Which video is that? No. What video is that? There's the video where he walks into the office. Damn it. There's the video where he walks into the office. Oh, Make Them Remember. On Make Them Remember. So I had the picture earlier. I meant to send it to myself. Of him wearing the necklace. I might just go to the video just to make it easier. Oh, no. I can just use this one. So, as you can see here, well, it's a better one right here. Ah, much better. So, as you can see here, the necklace that he's wearing is of the mayor's. Make sure I can get a better shot of it. Like I said, I had a much better shot. Okay, so this is a good one here. This is a good picture of it here. Of him wearing the 33rd degree Masonic necklace. I call it the 33rd degree Masonic necklace because it's pretty much the same exact thing that you see here. It just has different symbols on it, but it's pretty much the same exact necklace. So we were going over the fact that Drake pretty much is confirming that he has a new backy. And I kept saying that. I was like, Jay and Drake are stepping around like they have somebody backing them right now. Like somebody other than who they used to be with is backing them now. And you would only be that confident back outside moving around if you are, you know, covered by something of a Freemason, you're covered by someone of the Jewish descent, you're covered by somebody. You are definitely covered by somebody. So, like I said, when I saw him in the video with the necklace on, I said, oh, he's definitely confirming his ties now. Yes, that's the other thing. That's the other part of that. That's why he feels free to diss everybody right now. That's why he's back out and able to diss everybody. Because this is another reason why he did and I kept saying this is why he did everything in Toronto. Notice how he didn't come to the States. Maybe he shot a video. That's another thing too that was very telling. The video that he shot with Future was inside of a warehouse. It looked like it didn't look like he was saying that we back outside, but it was no outside in the video. He was not outside in Atlanta in the video. So that's another thing that's very foretelling here. He's doing everything he can in Toronto. He's not doing anything in the States because he says it on Make Them, I believe it was Make Them Worry. The very end of the song. Yeah, is it Make Them Worry? No, Make Them Know. On Make Them Know, he pretty much lets everybody say, okay, I'm burning the place down. There is no, I'm leaving this unscathed. I'm pretty much letting everything, and that's another thing that just came out too. Damn it, I forgot to get I'm gonna have to get the Trap Ross video in a second here too, because we got to go over the Taz Angels. We have to go over Taz Angels. Give me 2 seconds, y'all. Oh, never mind. So, yeah, give me 2 seconds, y'all. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, where was I? So, like I said, he's in Toronto right now because he has to run things from there. He cannot do anything in the States because of Lucian, and he's pretty much in fear of something actually happened to him. That's another reason why I named it Eagle Eye. He's pretty much like Shia LaBeouf and Eagle Eye right now. He knows his moves has to be very calculated. He can't just move around the way he used to. He shot one of his videos in Houston. Yes, he did shot, but that was on his own ranch. That was also at his house. Yeah, he can't go outside. You better walk around like Daft Punk is exactly what Kendrick Lamar was, was referring to. Nigga, you better walk around like Daft Punk. Because right now, Taz Angels is number one, fortunately. It's only Cat and AB left. They were really popping at the time. I remember that like it was yesterday. Yeah, so like I said, we're going to get into Taz Angels. Also, where should we start from here? Where should we go from here? Because like I said, he has pretty much confirmed why he's back outside. So we're going to now take a look at, as far as, thank you. We're going to take a look at the way that he pretty much fooled the industry. I have a couple of videos here tonight, but pretty much how he fooled the entire music industry is the first one we're going to go to, because it's pretty clever how he tried to do this. How he might get away with it is, that's the part I'm very iffy about. Because like I said, when I look at the Iceman cover itself, it looks like a bloody Michael Jackson glitter glove, doesn't it? It doesn't look like a regular Michael Jackson glove. Like this little blurred out part makes it look like a bloody Michael Jackson glove. And if you think about the whole lore of the a bloody Michael Jackson glove and how Michael Jackson pretty much, we went over him trying to funny how we literally just went over the fact that he tried to get away from Sony. He tried to pretty much skate off with the money that he had made, the billions of dollars that he had made from Sony in the catalog. But that actually didn't, that didn't manifest the way it should have. That did not manifest the way it should have. And it could have been a little bit better. It could have been a little bit better for Mike as far as, him not announcing it. And I think that's the mistake that Drake has also learned from with Michael, is that he didn't pretty much announce what he was doing with UMG. He just did it. Whereas Mike pretty much arrogantly slapped Sony in the face, and it gave Sony enough time to pretty much put together a campaign to ruin Michael and devalue him. The same way that they did Drake. I kept telling y'all, the biggest coincidence you have to think about when it comes to R. Kelly, Drake, and Michael Jackson is all the same thing, and that is Sony Music. Not UMG, but Sony Music. Drake's OVO imprint is signed to Sony, not UMG. Drake, the entity, the artist, is signed to UMG. But Drake's imprint OVO is signed to Sony. I think I had showed you guys this before. Drake's primary connection to Sony Music is through his independent label OVO Sound. While Drake's solo catalog has historically been tied to Universal Music Group, OVO Sound operates under strategic distribution and investment partnership with Santa Ana Label Group, a joint venture with Sony. So this is how he's able to skate off with what he's done with UMG. And look, January 2024, OVO Sound signed an investment distribution partnership with Santa Ana Label Group, founded by Todd Moskowitz in conjunction with Sony Music. So this was the same year that the beef happened. Was it not? The same year the beef happened, Drake pretty much put a play in to say, you know what? I'm going to throw OVO over here. Smart man. Business-wise, right? Now that he's pretty much able to renegotiate things.
Drake dropped 3 separate albums in one night: Iceman, Habibti, and Maid of Honor. Now, everybody's talking about the music, but I need you to hear the business. Each one of those projects has its own SoundScan code. Why does that matter? Because Drake was allegedly on the back end of a $400 million deal with Universal Music Group, and that deal required 3 more studio albums. He knocked out his entire contractual obligation in 24 hours. UMG woke up and their biggest artist was already gone. Now he's a free agent. And reportedly, a private equity firm has already put a $2 billion offer on the table. If he takes it, he bypasses the label system entirely and becomes the wealthiest artist in the history of music. More than Jay-Z, more than Taylor Swift. That's not rap beef. That's a hostile takeover. The labels have been doing artists dirty for decades, and Drake just flipped the board on all of them.
Very credible source here, Trevor Lawrence in the music business. But yeah, word has been going around the music business lately that, like I said, the boy skated off with two B's. That's different. Yes, he better be careful. Lucifer will get him. Yes, that's like I said. That's one of the biggest reasons I had to come on tonight, because I'm like, yo, if I'm hearing what I'm hearing right, I'm like, he's got a bullseye on his head. It ain't got nothing to do with LA. Like, he has a global bullseye on his head right now. He needs to be careful with how he moves around after this shit done came out. But yeah, so pretty much we're going to break it down. I should say I have a video here that will break it down for us. Pretty much how Drake has now fooled the industry.
The conversation around Drake right now is shifting away from the usual gossip about his personal life or his latest beef, and people are starting to look at the actual hidden signs behind the music. And among them, one theory is gaining a lot of ground. The theory is that there is a strong belief that Drake is currently in the middle of a massive strategic move to get out of his recording contract. People are calling it pulling a Frank Ocean, and if you look at the way he has been releasing music lately, the theory starts to make a lot of sense. To understand why this is such a big deal, you have to look back at what happened in 2016 with Frank Ocean, and how that one move changed the way artists think about their value. Back then, Frank Ocean was in a tough spot with his label Def Jam. He owed them one more album to finish his contract, but he clearly wanted to be a free agent. Instead of giving them the masterpiece he had been working on for years, he did something nobody expected. He released a visual album called Endless. It was a strange, experimental project that basically fulfilled the letter of his contract without giving the label a traditional radio-friendly hit. As soon as that project dropped, his legal obligations were over. Less than 24 hours later, he released Blonde independently. Blonde was the real album everyone wanted, and because he released it on his own, he kept a much larger piece of the profit. He finessed the entire industry in a single weekend. Now, fast forward to right now, and fans are seeing the exact same patterns with Drake. He recently surprised everyone by dropping 3 albums at the same time. On the surface, it looks like he's just being productive or trying to flood the charts like he usually does. But when you actually sit down and listen to the music, the quality control feels different. A lot of people feel that out of those 3 projects, only one of them, Iceman, sounds like a real polished Drake album, as it has the production, the writing, and the focus that he usually puts into his biggest works. The other 2 projects feel more like a collection of songs that were sitting in a folder for a few years.
Now, with that being said, yes, it is very true. Reason why is because at the end of episode 4 of Iceman, it literally states, I did this so I could do this and this. And it says all 3 albums dropping at midnight. He didn't do that just so he would, like he just said, it wasn't just so he could be productive. It was doing that so he could pretty much be a thief in the night and skate off. Without UMG noticing that there were 2 more albums that were out from Drake, because Iceman was the big, the big show in front of the curtain. The other 2 skated off as the last 2 albums that he needed to even fulfill his contract with UMG.
They aren't necessarily bad, but they don't have that same feel. So this is where the theory gets interesting. As of recently, the head of OVO posted saying, "Summer's ours and winter's too," hinting that there will be another project dropping in the winter independently, as Drake used those other 2 projects to burn through the remaining requirements of his contract. In the music business, an album isn't a creative choice, but a legal unit. If his deal required him to deliver a certain number of projects before he could leave or renegotiate, dropping 3 at once is the fastest way to hit that number. By putting the real album, Iceman, in the middle of that dump, he satisfies the fans while also checking the boxes for the label. If this is true, it means Drake is officially clearing his plate. He is making sure that whatever he does next, he owns it completely. This would explain why the rollout didn't include the 2 albums and so sudden and almost rushed. Usually, a Drake album comes with months of cryptic Instagram posts, billboards in every major city, and a massive lead single that plays on the radio every 10 minutes. This time, he just put the 2 albums out without any rollout, like Iceman. That kind of behavior usually suggests an artist who is trying to fulfill a quota rather than someone who is trying to start a new commercial era. If he's trying to exit his deal, he doesn't want to give the label a massive, multi-month marketing campaign that they will profit from. He wants to give them the music, finish the paperwork, and move on to the next phase of his career. If Drake actually becomes a free agent, the entire music industry is going to experience it. To put his power into perspective, you have to look at the sheer scale of his numbers. Drake's catalog alone generates more streams and revenue than entire decades of music combined.
With that being said, this is why people have, just gone on and accepted the fact that Drake is the modern day Mike. You can't put that past him. He's the modern day Mike because of what he's done for the music business. Like I said, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say it again. I'm going to keep saying it throughout the pod. Regardless of how you feel about him personally, what he has done for the music business has never been seen before. What he is doing, what he's been doing, like I said, from 2009 on to now, is very similar to Michael Jackson's run in the music business. You can't deny that from him. And like I said, we're not just talking about, the songs. We're not even talking about the songs itself. As far as, we're us listening to past times like Remember the Time and Bad and Smooth Criminal. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about the legacy of the music itself. We're talking about, like I said, the music business. Just that alone in general. Drake has had a similar run to Michael Jackson, to where everything he was on, everything he touched, everything, every song that was on the radio, it's pretty much the same exact thing. He's not the same as before. If he does sign to another label, he doesn't have the same effect like before. Very true. That's also very true. Which makes it very much of a slippery slope for Drake as well, if you think about it. It makes it a very slippery slope for Drake becoming independent in a sense. Because now he's also entered that same realm that Mike has entered. Because remember when Mike left off Sony and he pretty much became independent, and we got Blood on the Dance Floor and Butterfly, or should I say we got Invincible and Blood on the Dance Floor. We got those albums. This is it. We got that from Mike. I think I'm missing one other album, maybe Legend or something like that. But you get what I'm saying. We saw the Michael that was Remember the Time, Bad, Smooth Criminal, all those, Thriller, Billie Jean. We saw that era Mike, and then we saw You Rock My World Mike. You get what I'm saying? Think about that. There's a huge difference in impact. Not even impact. There's a huge difference in career height level from Billie Jean to Rock My World. Can we agree on that? There is a huge difference in the Michael Jackson that was even from, I'll even put Prime Mike, Remember the Time. There's a huge difference from Remember the Time and Rock My World Mike. Can we agree on that? So let's look at it like that. There's what are you going to say? Not Best I Ever Had, but there's Take Care Drake, Top of the World. Matter of fact, not even Top of the World. Views Drake, Controller. Biggest record in the world at the time. There's Views Drake. Thank you. I appreciate that. There's Views Drake. Top of the world I'm looking from the in my head. There's that Drake, and then there's Now. Then there's Beep Beep Baby. There's this Drake. There's Villain Drake now. We're in Villain Drake era. There is a huge difference in the lines, like I said, the lines of career, but it's very similar, like I said, when you talk about what they have done in the music business and what their higher their careers have been and where they are now as far as fighting the music business and the labels itself. That's the similarity I'm comparing right now. I'm talking about the similarity to them fighting the business. R. Kelly fought the business. Mike fought the business. Drake is fighting the business because they are huge artists and they mean a lot to these record labels. Because he was next, he wanted the fame and gold more than everybody else. Yes, exactly. And Drake knew that. Drake knew he was up next. So many people already knew Drake was up next. That's the other part of that. That's why I keep saying the similarity to him and Mike and R. Kelly. There were so many other artists that were benefiting off just him being around in the music business, if you think about it, right? There were a lot of people piggybacking off of his success in the business. If you got a Drake feature, you were gone. No different than if you got a Michael on your record. It was out of here. So think about this, right? Remember, I'll give you an example of the Drake effect that happened, right? Where when Drake was hot and everything he jumped on, it was just out of here. Remember when Michael wrote the song for, I can't remember the guy's name now. But remember when he wrote, Somebody's Watching Me? Remember when he wrote that? That song just took off. You ain't never heard from the guy again. But that was because you thought it was a Michael Jackson record. You thought it was a Michael Jackson. That's the same thing with the Drake effect. R. Kelly had the same exact effect to where he jumped on the hook of the record or he sung on a feature on the record. It was out of here. All of them have the same thing in common as far as, like I said, Sony Music and what they are doing for the music business as far as, yes, DJ Khaled is another prime example as well. Catalog wise and what he's done for, like I said, the music business. And whenever an artist would get on his album or get on one of his records, that was their takeoff pretty much. Then he wasn't talented. We got to stop giving him credit he doesn't deserve. Well, you can't really say that. That part you can't really say because the talent still got him there. The talent part still got him there. Him being smart as far as how he put music out, him being smart as far as the songs that he selected to put out, him being smart as far as how he handled his business throughout the years. There's different levels of that talent, right? We're not just talking about just being in the studio. That's why I give him that comparison to, like I said, the R. Kelly, Mike. I give him that comparison because those guys slept in the studio. Those guys slept and shit in the studio. And their catalog proves that. That's why I kept it even frozen on this little part right here. Their catalog proves it. Right. Well, and I believe that Barry Gordy, son of Quincy Jones, you can tell his singing voice is gone. Yeah. A lot of it is just very much auto-tune right now. But yeah, again, catalog. It is all about catalog and publishing. When it comes to a Drake catalog, it is worth a couple $2 billion, I would think. When we're putting everything up on the table, I'm looking at all these albums here and all these records, just the sum of. Like, that boy has had a crazy run. Not just on the radio, but like I said, throughout music. He's had a crazy consistent run. I want you to also think about that, right? When Michael Jackson was out, there was no doubt that Michael Jackson was the guy. Right? When Drake was on top, there was no doubt that Drake was the guy. And the other thing we have to also remember is we aren't talking about just in rap music. Drake is an international star. He is an international pop star. He's not just a rapper. That's the other part people have to sometimes remember. He is not just a rapper. Even if you've heard anything on Habibi or Honestly Nevermind, even you can see he is not just a rapper, because he has to fulfill so many different slots when he does do a album. He has to fulfill the we call it the Caribbean side. He has to go to the he has to possibly do a reggae side. He has to do his singing. He has to do his crooning. He has to do his hard rap. He has to do his trap song. You get what I'm saying? He has to go through so many different genres to even complete an album for him. He has to appeal to so many. That's another thing he was talking about on the album. He has to appeal to so many different markets at one time because of who he is in the music that he's made. There's not too many artists you can say have done that. But who? Mike. To appeal on an international level, and everywhere you go across the globe, you are known as the number one guy. You can't say that about anybody else but Michael. You can say that with Drake. Regardless of where he's looked at in the States right now at the moment, when he was on top, before that beef happened, Drake was seen as the number one guy globally. That devaluement of that diamond that he had to return back to Lucian, he pretty much he melted the whole thing down and gave him back a glass of liquid. If we're really being real about it, he said, fuck the money you gave me. If we're really being real about it, I got other deals on the table. I'm not renegotiating shit.
There are years in the 1980s and 1990s where the total output of every artist in the world doesn't match the volume of what Drake does on Spotify and Apple Music every single month. He is a one-man economy. Up until now, a huge portion of that money has been going to the major labels and the distributors who sit between him and the listeners. When an artist reaches this level of fame, the traditional label model starts to look like a bad deal. Labels provide marketing, distribution, and funding for recording. Drake doesn't need any of that. He has enough money to fund any project he wants. He has the biggest social media platform in the world to market himself, and distribution is something you can buy for a flat fee now. He is basically paying a massive tax to a corporation for services he could easily do himself. If he moves into a completely independent space, he stops paying that tax. This leaves Drake with two very intense choices for his future. The first choice is to operate like his own label in every sense of the word. He already has OVO, but right now it still operates under the umbrella of a larger corporate structure. Going fully independent would mean he becomes the machine. He could sign other artists, control his own masters, and keep 100% of the equity in everything he creates. In this scenario, he isn't just a rapper anymore. He becomes a tech mogul who happens to make music. He would be the first artist of the streaming era to truly own the pipes and the water. The second choice is even more wild. He could take his free agency status and use it to sign the biggest deal in the history of the entertainment business. We are not talking about $100 million or even $500 million. If Drake is truly a free agent, he could be looking at a $1 billion deal. The Iceman project gives us a hint of what he might do in the future. He feels more focused and less concerned with trying to please every single demographic at once. If the theory holds up and the other two projects were just contract killers, then Iceman is the bridge to his new era. It shows that he still has the hunger to make high-quality music, but he's doing it on his own terms now. There is a lot of suspense right now because Drake hasn't officially confirmed any of this. He's playing it cool, which is exactly what you would do if you were in the middle of a high-stakes legal move. You don't brag about leaving until the ink is dry on the release papers. But the signs are all there. The sudden drops, the variation in quality between the projects, and the lack of traditional marketing all point to an artist who is checking out of one system so he can build his own. The next few months are going to be some of the most interesting in his entire career. If we see him announce a new partnership that isn't a traditional record deal, or if he starts releasing music under a completely new entity without any major label logos on the back of the album, we'll know for sure. He's not just playing the game anymore, he's trying to own the league. It's a move that requires a lot of confidence and a lot of patience. You have to be willing to take a short-term hit in the media or let people be confused by your release schedule to get the long-term win of total ownership. If he pulls this off, it will be the ultimate "I told you so" to his critics. People have spent years saying he's a product of the industry or that he's too reliant on the machine. By walking away from that machine at the height of his fame, he proves that he is the one who is actually running it. He becomes the architect of his own future instead of just another employee in a corporate building. The financial implications alone are enough to make your head spin, but the cultural impact is even bigger. For now, all we can do is watch the moves he makes. Every post, every surprise drop, and every business deal is a piece of the puzzle. The music industry is a complicated place, but Drake has always been a student of the game. He watched how the legends before him got trapped in bad deals, and he watched how people like Frank Ocean found the exit. He's taking those lessons and applying them on a much larger scale. If you didn't think Drake was a businessman first, you haven't been paying attention. He's about to turn the entire industry upside down, and by the time most people realize what happened, he'll already be at the top of a brand new mountain he built himself. Whether he goes fully independent or signs a historic deal for billions, the result is the same. He is moving into a position of power that no rapper has ever truly held before. He is moving beyond the artist label and becoming a permanent fixture in the global economy. The 3-album drop wasn't a mistake or a sign of being unfocused. It was a calculated move to clear the way for what's coming next. And if the rumors are true, what's coming next is going to make everything he's done so far look like a warm-up. I'll keep you posted as more details come out, but the writing is on the wall. The era of the major label superstar might be ending, and
see, that's the other part of that, right? So that speaks to what Marcus Lloyd, what's going on? That speaks to that, right? So yes, Drake's era, as far as him being the guy on top, is over. That part's over. So the $2 billion is for his catalog. Excuse me, I'm parked. The $2 million is just for the catalog skate off. That's literally what that is. It's not for, you get on camera. It's not for him to necessarily just make more music and try to be the number one hit guy again. It's just so he can say, all right, I kind of beat the game without still being in it. You know what I mean? He's able to do the one thing early that not a lot of people were able to do. And that's just strictly make money off of the music and get out. Not everybody's able to do that. Let me see. Of course, no one really compares. Let me move this down a little bit. No one really compares him to Mike. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, we're not comparing him to Mike. It's just the careers. It's the similarity of the careers. Yes, it's just the similarity of the careers. And no, he the other thing to that is so if we're talking about the ending of Drake's career, right? This now comes with him having to realize again he's not going to be the same guy anymore. He's not going to be the big international pop star, the number one hit guy. Let's just keep it that. He's not going to be the number one hit guy all the time anymore. So, as someone said earlier, music is very dead right now. And that was what I was speaking about the last pod with the album drop was when was the last time people were even excited about getting new music again? Until Iceman. Right? Kendrick's gonna drop soon, but we're talking about, like I said, someone just building up hype, someone dropping an album, and you actually getting excited about listening to the music that's on it. You actually, dissecting lyrics again. When is the last time the shit happened? Right? The last time it happened was, again, something involving Drake. If you think about it, it was Kendrick, but it was something that was involving who? Drake. The man's very important to the music business, regardless of, what happens to him, which is why it's a very tricky thing when it comes to trying to remove Drake, if you get what I'm saying. It becomes a very tricky thing because it's like, where is it? It starts to put a big spotlight on a lot of things. It puts a very big spotlight if something were to happen to Drake right now. That's the other part of that. Because then people will start saying, well, we know why something happened to him. So now we just have to, now it's up to us, getting someone arrested or justice being done. You know what I mean? Just something that would have to, offset that. But that's the slippery slope that Drake has chosen to be on right now. It's I'm beating the game, but I know how this game works. Just because I might have beat the game doesn't mean I get to walk out the door of the house. I'm still in the house. You know what I mean? He's still in the music house. So until he officially retires and walks out the door, it's still very tricky for him as far as something happening to him. Because him giving the $2 billion up for his catalog and him becoming independent and going off and doing his own thing, like I said, it's not you moving away to Florida and just hiding away. This is pretty much now, like I said, there's a giant bullseye on you. That's the other thing, right? They chew you up and spit you out dead. Like they build you up and spit you out dead. Yes. The industry made, like I just said earlier in the chat, the industry made Drake. He knows that, which was very important to the scene that was in Make Them Remember. In the very end of the was it not Make Them Remember? Is it Make Them Remember? Yeah, Make Them Remember. The very end of the album, where he's like, no, it's not Make Them Remember. Make Them Remember is the other one. It is, yeah, Make Them Remember is that one. It is Suffer and Succotash. In the end of Make Them Know. In the end of Make Them Know, he's burning down the bot phones. Yes, the Drake rituals are coming. The Drake rituals are definitely coming. Well, I think he does know that. That's why I said it's interesting how he publicly let it be known that he's running with the Canadian 33rd degree, the Canadian Masonry, pretty much. The Canadian Freemasonry. By wearing the necklace in the video of Make Them Remember. Done forgot the name of the damn song now. Got the name of the fucking song now. And Make Them Know, in the video where he's burning down the phones, the bot phones, right? That was not just symbolism of him, dissing Kendrick. That was more symbolism of him saying, if I'm leaving the building, I'm burning everything down with it. He's pretty much saying, yo, I'm leaving, but this shit didn't run well without me. This shit didn't run without me. So you want me to go, everything goes. You want me to go, everything goes. I'm burning everything down. That's what the symbolism of that was. And then if you notice, the hit single right now that organically happened just so happened to be a song called Janice Shut the Fuck Up. To where you openly diss Universal Music Group. Because everyone started to realize, I should have thought about this, right? Janice Shut the Fuck. The Janice he's talking to is a woman by the name of Janice Jose. She's the head brand of partnership with Universal Music Group.
Right in our face. So a couple followers let me know that UMG copyright striked their videos where they had Drake's song on them. This person says that they did a video with bees on the table in the audio and the video was copyright striked. And then this person says that they made a video with Too Hard for the Radio in it and it was also copyright strike. Now Friday, I made a video with Too Hard for the Radio on it as well. And when I posted it over on Instagram, it was immediately muted. But I thought I might have done something wrong with the audio or something. Like I wasn't sure if I selected the right song, something. So I didn't know. So I just deleted it and re-uploaded it. And it was fine after I re-uploaded it. But yeah.
Swayze World, what's going on?
What's going on there, UMG? Why are you blocking the sound in certain countries? Why is that? Like to play in our face in plain sight when we're watching you. We're watching you. We expected this, so we're watching you. Why would you do that? Janice? Why would you do that, Janice? So be on the lookout for this.
People have already realized that the Janice is Janice Jose, the head of brand partnerships with Universal Music Group. I didn't even pay attention to the fact that there's literally a guy in the record yelling, Janice, shut the fuck up. If you pay attention, there's a guy right in the middle of the hook going, Janice, shut the fuck up. I was like, oh, that's where that came from. She spreads false narratives. Well, that's not necessarily a false narrative she's spreading though, because I got one. I got copyright striked on that whole shit by UMG. So she wasn't lying about the copyright strike shit. Everybody's getting copyright strikes for trying to play anything on the album. I've never cared about copyright strikes. I don't give a fuck. I just have it. I just have it. Y'all know me already. Y'all know I don't give a fuck. Shit. But yeah, the whole copyright strike thing is very, very true. My shit hasn't been removed, but you know, I haven't been like posting the shit on like Twitter and whatnot. So like clips of it on Twitter. So there's that. YouTube just strikes my shit and I get less views, but I'm not used to getting a lot of them. So it's fine. Right, it wasn't whitelisted. You don't like this song? You don't like this song? Beep beep baby, baby. You don't like that? That song is catchy as hell to some people. It's catchy as hell. It's I can't lie. It's got that thing to it. It's got that thing to it. But it's got a good melody. It's got a good melody to it. But Janice Shut the Fuck Up was about, like I said, Janice Jose, ironically. I'm trying to see if I can find. Let me see. It's crazy. Everything leads to that video. Everything leads to that video. Oh, LinkedIn. Bingo. And then all the other damn Janice Jose's come up. It's that bullshit. But you see her there. Let me see. I'll see if I can find her actual page. She might have taken it down just so people don't try to look for her. I would have. I would have shut my Instagram down immediately. Well, it's not the same background singers in it either. That's the other part you have to realize. It's all him. It's all him now. So that goes with that as well, right? You're saying he don't sing as good as he used to is because he don't got the background singers he used to either. That UMG used to put in his records. He don't got none of it. Like I said, he don't got none of the magic that was around him anymore. That's the biggest difference. He don't got none of the magic around him anymore. Yeah, there was a theory about that being Kendrick's aunt, Keem's mother Janice. But no, this was in the video itself. I was trying to really figure out why he had this lonely woman, this lonely rich woman that was just moving around pretty much, in bewilderment or confusion of damn, I fucked up. Should I call Drake? Should I tell him I'm sorry? It had that type of woman in the thing. And so I'm like, who else would fit that description but like a executive or somebody that's making their own money, right? It pointed right it point the finger right at Janice Jose. That's why even in the hook of the record, he's talking about he's back being hot in these streets. You motherfuckers didn't think he's talking directly, like I said, to UMG because he's telling them like, yo, you niggas didn't think I was gonna be hot in these streets again, did you? You thought y'all killed me all the way, that nothing I did was going to be, a hit record. Well, guess what? Now the hit record I just made is telling your head of brand partnerships to shut the fuck up. How about that one? She said that I wasn't gonna be back hot. All right, well, bitch, I'm back hot. Shut the fuck up now. That makes plenty sense. That makes plenty sense. No, they don't back him anymore. That's another thing. That's the other part of that, right? Because there's still going to be people that don't necessarily care about the ins and outs or the personals of Drake behind the scenes. That's the other part of that, right? There's people that, there's still younger fans that still fuck with Drake. The young 20, put like this, the average 20-year-old to 30 right now still fucks with Drake because they grew up with him. That's all they know. That's all they know is Drake. The average 20-year-old right now, that's all they know is Drake. So you have to keep that in mind as well. The older demographic doesn't really fuck with Drake too heavy. Unless, like I said, you're talking about somebody that doesn't pay attention to, like I said, the ins and outs of the Kendrick beef and the pedophilia shit and Triple X Tentacion. The older generation that doesn't pay attention to none of that, they still listen to Drake. They still fuck with him. But like I said, my audience, of course, my older audience is not going to fuck with Drake. I know that. I just know that. We have a different, we have a higher level of frequency that we are appealed to. So Kendrick Lamar is our GOAT over here. So that's understood. But the rest of the demographic, the rest of the general consensus and the general public, they fuck with Drake. And that was something that was very evident with this album. Very evident with this album is that the people in general still fuck with Drake. And fans can be very fickle. 1 minute it could be, Drake got beat up. Oh, Drake got beat up. 2 years later, oh shit, Drake got a slap. They don't care. Yes, I did. I can't remember who the guy was. The bald head guy, and Drake in the back of the car, in the back seat. Yeah, I saw that video earlier. I said that shit got like 10 million damn views on on damn Instagram already, and just him getting in the back of the car going somewhere with somebody chilling. Your niece doesn't really listen to Drake. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Like I said, some people are on a higher level of frequency. Some people are on a higher level of frequency as far as that goes. Yes, Knife Flavor. Fantastic fun though. What's going on? What is going on? But yes, I did definitely see that video as well going viral right now. But like I said, you can't, and that speaks volumes right there. Just a little girl singing the song. That speaks volumes to things as far as they don't necessarily care about, like I said, the ins and outs of his personal life behind the scenes. They just care about good music. To a lot of people, Drake still makes good music. Because you have to think about this, right? As far as like just the everyday, not even turn up music, just everyday life music. The guy fills a lot of slots. That's what I was speaking about earlier. He fills a lot of fucking slots. If you want to go to the gym, you want to go to the club, you want to just drive and think, you want to just sit at home and clean, the nigga fills every slot. He fills every fucking slot musically. Everyone. The father is a super fan? Yeah. Like I said, like I said, speaks volumes to how much the people fuck with him. The people fuck with him. They don't necessarily care about him being a pedophile. They don't care about what he allegedly killing. They don't care about that. They don't. They just want good music. That's it. That's it. That's all they care about. Going to work, coming home, the kids and wife, listening to good music. That's all they care about. That's it. And okay, so let's get into that was the next thing I need to do. Was the disses. Oh, matter of fact, since we're on the subject, let's just go here real quick. Matter of fact, yeah, I'll say that for another time. So that probably wasn't about much. I could use that for later on. Actually, I'll use that for later on. I want to get into this the disses that was on the album. Let's get into the disses that were on the album first.
All right, so this new Iceman album by Drake is full of shots, full of disses. So let's get into every single diss that was on Iceman explained by me.
Because I caught a lot of them. I was right about a good load of them. But I did miss a couple of lines. Like the Hove line that was in plain sight, I completely missed it. That one I completely missed. The one where he directly said, yo, y'all niggas get Hove for your second opinion. That one I caught. And make them pay. I caught that one easily. But I didn't realize he was not just talking to Wayne, but he was also talking to Cole. In a good portion of that. It wasn't just the Big Three record. It wasn't just the Big Three line and after. It was a good part of that before that where he was also talking to Cole and Wayne. So I was like, oh, okay, this is very interesting. And then also I want to play the record where he is directly talking to Wayne on the conductor beat. I mean, directly talking to him.
Let's go. There's so many people dissed on this album. We just gonna start with the owner of TDE himself, Anthony Top Dog Tiffith, on the song Make Them Cry.
Random intrusive thought, but what happened to Taz's Angels?
So Drake says, what happened to Taz's Angels? Now, Taz's Angels, a former modeling agency who got caught up in some crimes.
The FBI raided their mansion in Miami. There was allegations of sex working.
But Drake admittedly makes a very off-ball reference to them like, yo, what happened to those people? And it almost seems innocent until you dig a little deeper. One of the former Taz's Angels, her name was Ashley Martell, and she had formerly accused Anthony Top Dog Tiffith, the CEO of TDE, of abuse. So here's a photo of her battered eye. I'll kind of censor that out just to be safe.
When I go into the Trap Love Ross's video of the covering this right here, we're gonna dig into Taz's Angels. We're gonna be here.
YouTube. But yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence that Drake randomly mentions Taz's Angels when one of the former models, who's still pretty Instagram famous at this point, formerly accused Top Dog of abuse. Hey y'all, I am a one-man show. I record, edit the video myself, create the thumbnail, everything. So hitting like and subscribe does help a bunch. Thanks so much. Back to the video. So
Keem is young. How old is Keem? Keem is young. I know Keem is pretty damn young himself. Yeah, Keem's 25. He's 25 now. And this happened 3 years ago, so he was about 22? He was, yeah, about 21, 22. So, I mean, can you really fault him for having a 17-year-old girl if he's like 22 himself? Is that really that bad though? If he's like 22 with a 17-year-old, is that really bad though? I don't know. That was a tricky one. That was a tricky one. I don't know. 22 with a 17. I don't know. That's a tricky one. That's a very tricky one. I don't know. That's kind of close. It's kind of close because she turned 18 next year. The nigga only 22. That's kind of close. It's kind of close. Kind of close. But yeah, Keem's only 25 right now. He's a young buck. Young buck. Young buck. Where was we going? Where's we at with this? Okay.
Obviously, on this Iceman album, Kendrick Lamar caught a bunch of strays.
Like that.
On the song Dust, Drake says, "What was the year they said you had slaps? Because I don't remember it going like that."
Since 2009, I had this bitch jumping.
This appears to be Drake referencing Kendrick's bar on Not Like Us. Drake is directly questioning that. Like, 2009, I don't remember you being popping in that year, Kendrick.
Let's go.
Drake will go on to say, "I don't remember one word of your raps. I don't know nothing about you on them tracks." Now, as you can imagine, Kendrick Lamar caught most of the disses on this Iceman album. On Whisper My Name, Drake said, "My white label had to go white label when he stepped out his body and finally got hot." So even in these disses towards Kendrick Lamar, Drake is saying, yo, you did well, like you got hot, like I'll give you your props. But here Drake takes aim at his label, UMG, his white label, white-owned label, saying they went white label. Now, if we dig just a little bit deeper into the meaning of white label, a white label is a product or service that's made by one company and then rebranded and sold by a different company under their own name. So it seems like Drake is looking at Kendrick like, hey, UMG hand selected you to replace me. And that's the only reason you got hot. White label. On the song Whisper My Name, Drake says,
This ain't fixed.
"This ain't fixable smoke when you see us. I'll sit in with Farrakhan."
This like the bag that you bring on the plane. It's gonna carry on.
So Minister Farrakhan has infamously squashed a lot of hip hop beefs. He would make certain rappers, certain entertainers, black entertainers, come and meet with him to squash whatever public issues they had together. Drake is saying, yo, not even sitting with Farrakhan is going to help that. Like, this is something that we're going to carry on forever between us. So maybe one of the more direct shots towards Kendrick on Iceman was on the song Janice STFU.
White kids listen to you because they feel some guilt, and that's how your soul gets fulfilled.
So here Drake is jamming at Kendrick's fan base. What we saw at the pop-out show was a lot of non-black kids, a lot of white kids, which is kind of the reverse of how Kendrick portrays it in his music. The culture, black culture, this and that. I mean, I'm just giving you guys Drake's perspective here. And Drake is saying those white kids that are there, they're not even there because they like your music like that. They're there to help fulfill this white guilt because they get to listen to you rap about the black plight and things of that. And here Drake tries to point out some type of hypocrisy, saying you hand out turkeys on camera in your hood. So you're handing out turkeys in Compton for these holiday giveaways, but you're doing it on camera, so it's fake, right? You're not doing it out the kindness of your heart. You're doing it for public relations, for PR. Then you go back to the hills, which is like the rich part of LA.
How many houses you build?
Drake is attempting to point out some type of hypocrisy within Kendrick. Drake seems to believe that Kendrick portrays himself as some sort of savior who's gonna, help people and save the hood. So Drake is saying like, okay, where are the results of that? On Shebang, Drake says,
Don't even recognize none of these names at the top of the charts. I look.
And as of the week that Iceman came out, there are very few hip hop records in the charts. In that same verse, Drake goes on to say,
Last one you dropped was shit. I did press play on that hoe. Mid, skip.
It was mid. I skipped a lot of records. He's talking about GNX. So he's doing a critical breakdown of GNX. It's mid. There's a lot of skips. The album wasn't that good, he's saying. Thus is why I don't recognize any names currently on the Billboard charts.
And now they got a new goat and we gotta test the position.
So this is from the song Make Them Pay. Drake says, we got a new GOAT. We gotta test the position. He's talking about Kendrick. Apparently you're the new GOAT. You replaced me, allegedly, because of the Not Like Us. This is what people say. So you replaced me. All right, so let's test it.
Who is this guy for real? I guess a magician. 100 million streams vanished. No one got questions for niggas.
So he's looking at Kendrick like, okay, so you're supposed to be the new GOAT. You're supposed to be the guy now that you took me down. But we don't see you, right? Like a magician. He vanishes. He doesn't drop music. He disappears like a musician pulling a rabbit out the hat. Oh, and plus those streams. There's this whole allegation that Kendrick and other TDE artists were botting streams and they lost millions upon millions of streams.
Now, I remember the week that went out, that news went out about the bots and the millions of streams that went. Even if you look now, you're seeing GNX get removed and taken down. You're seeing a lot of Kendrick shit just getting taken down randomly. That's not by coincidence. That's, and I keep saying this, right? Even the fact that Kendrick just pretty much just disappeared after this whole thing, right? If you look at it, if he does drop right now, it still feels like robot, like evil, like Mecha Godzilla got sent out. That's what it feels like right now. It feels like Drake is Godzilla and you just sent out Mecha Godzilla. That's literally what it feels like to me, because I keep saying that don't even look like Kendrick no more. They've been, and this is a whole other note. I don't want to dig deep into that, but I've showed y'all different, ways that you can tell that that's not the real Kendrick anymore. That's label made robot, whatever the fuck. That ain't the real Kendrick no more. Kendrick is gone. So whatever happens now is pretty much, UMG sending out their little, evil robot Kendrick at Drake. And what was going on with these streams is the campaign. Remember when the Hard Part 6, the diss to Kendrick, came out and it had like 600 or 700 dislikes in like an hour, and you never seen a damn record of Drake's, let alone that, have dislikes on it? Well, no, he didn't. It wasn't even because his hair. That was the other part of that, right? It's like he just looked completely different. He looked like, it reminded me of when Dave Chappelle supposedly went away to Africa and came back all buff and swollen and shit. That's what it reminded me of. That's literally what it reminded me of. When I see like even the picture they just showed with him holding the Grammys, that don't look like Kendrick. That do not look like him. I'm like, who the fuck is that? When I saw him come up on the stage, I was like, who is this glow? Who is this the damn wax figure walking up here? Who the that ain't Kendrick? Who the fuck is that? That's what I felt like. I was like, who is this nigga? That ain't no damn Kendrick Lamar. Who is this? They done replaced that nigga for sure. I can't say Lord look more polished. That nigga look completely different. He look like a completely different nigga altogether. And that was the other trick to that, right? I'm glad even Drake even used the reference of magician, because that's the other magician trick to that, right? Because you chose a guy that's rarely seen to begin with, you can't really tell the difference if he's changed or not, because there's not a lot of pictures of Kendrick. There's not a lot of times you've seen Kendrick out in public, unless you went to a show. Grooming and taking care of yourself equals clone interesting. No, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so I guess I'm not gonna do it now because, like I said, I don't want to take it off that. Like I said, I've done a couple of different videos on Kendrick not being Kendrick right now. He's not in the open like Drake, right? He's not in the open like him, so it's hard to tell if he got switched out or not. 100 million streamers going was capped. That was reported by a horrible Twitter user called Pop Tings, who had no sources. So that's the other thing, right? I didn't necessarily even see, because when I went to even check when it happened, it didn't look like anything had left. As far as the streams goes, it didn't look like the success of it had left. But I also know, as far as what labels in general are capable of doing, as far as botting is concerned. When an artist is set to drop, when an album comes out and they want their artist to sell, yes, bots are definitely used. That's Drake knows that. That's what I said. It was so symbolic of him burning down the bot farm. It wasn't necessarily to diss Kendrick as much as it was to diss the label itself, because he knows the ins and outs of the label and how they actually do use bot farms to boost artists. It's not just Kendrick, it's for everybody. Everybody has bot farms to boost their shit in different ways. Yeah, you can definitely say that. Both cartoon rap characters at this point. But everybody is. Everybody's a character, right? If you think about it. But yeah, that's the end all be all as far as, you know, why that was even important for them to use Kendrick, of all things, of all people, I should say. They use Kendrick because Kendrick is not someone that's out in the open like that. So it's very easy to replace him and then make him the number one guy, especially when we're talking about the same Kendrick that was against the industry. Think about that, right? We're talking about the same Kendrick Lamar that has always been against the industry. So for him to join forces with the industry, think about that. You join forces with the industry just to take him down? That speaks volumes to that. Yeah, very much in projecting.
When Spotify did a bot purge, he says no one got questions for these guys. And to Drake's credit, it's hard to tell if that allegation is even true because no one asks directly about that specific allegation. Punch, the president of TDE, he did go on a Joe Budden podcast, and Joe Budden asked him, but not about the 100 million streams directly. Joe Budden asked Punch, do you bot streams? Which, of course, everyone would say no, because botting streams is against pretty much every streaming service's terms of service. So no one is going to come out and admit, oh yeah, we bot streams, right? You get your music taken off services. But the specific point of 100 million streams allegedly vanishing, to Drake's credit, no one asks about this.
Way out of dip out of six, run out of six, just like it did.
So this bar from National Treasure is referencing Kendrick going to Toronto and performing Not Like Us.
I saw Canadian fans wearing shirts that said Canadians do not F with Drake.
Everyone came out to see if Kendrick would actually put his foot on the pedal regarding Not Like Us in Drake's hometown. And this is something that Drake is going to reference a couple times on Iceman. Yeah, he came to Toronto the 6th and he performed these records, but he bolted out of there quickly. There are videos of Kendrick having like a 20, 30 plus police escort. Once he was finished with the show, he got out of Toronto immediately with a police escort straight to the airport. Now, obviously, I think that's the smart thing to do. I think the smart thing to do would have not to go into Toronto to begin with. But yeah, if you're going to go there, don't hang around.
Why was TPS at my crib until you boy slid? It is what it is.
And then Drake goes on to say, why was TPS, which is like Toronto's police department, why were they at my crib, at my house, posted, watching me until y'all finished your show? So Drake is accusing Kendrick of having the police sit there and watch his house until he got out of Toronto. Is it true? I don't know. But this is what Drake is saying.
All these want a head tap, I did more damage off a body blow.
On the same song, National Treasures, Drake says, all these dudes want a head tap, but I did more off a body blow. So this appears to be referencing Euphoria.
Headshot for the year. You better walk around like Daft Punk.
Where Kendrick says, headshot for the year. Y'all better walk around like Daft Punk. Drake is saying like, yeah, all y'all want the headshot, you want the head tap, but I'm doing more damage to you just off the body blow. Little boxing reference.
I'm fighting a man, I'm suing a rapper, you was not listening.
So this bar is from Bees on the Table. It's alluding to Drake's lawsuit with UMG, where a lot of people kind of see the lawsuit as suing Kendrick for Not Like Us, But in order to not sue Kendrick directly, he's just going to sue UMG over defamation. Drake is clearing that up. For everyone who thinks like that, I'm fighting the man. The man, like, is a term for the industry, the oligarchs. Like, yo, I'm fighting the man. It's not about Kendrick.
I'm back in your city tonight, walking around my head high.
Here, Drake is saying, hey, I'm in LA. I'm all throughout California, Southern California, with my head high. Meanwhile, when Kendrick was in Toronto, he got up out of there quickly. Again, this is something that Drake references a couple times on Iceman. The fact that, yeah, Kendrick came to Toronto, but left quickly with a...
I can't really, so here's the thing, right? What made that weird was the big drone footage that people saw of Kendrick leaving the city that night, because he did 2 shows. He did 2 nights. He didn't do 1 night in Toronto. He did 2 nights in Toronto, right? You said you was at the show, right? So he did 2 nights at Toronto, right? Now, here's the thing, right? I'm not necessarily defending Drake as much as I'm saying I know that big artists, especially at the height of like a Kendrick Lamar's career, and considering, you know, the beef, it was at the height of the beef as well. Of course, the police are going to be escorting Kendrick out. Yeah, it doesn't even matter how much police he had with him. The fact that this was also during the height of the beef, you should expect to see the National fucking Guard escorting Kendrick out. You should expect to see that, hey, we don't want our city to be a war zone. You do your show, get the fuck out of here. That's pretty much what happened. The city of Toronto probably said, look, we know Kendrick Lamar is coming here, so something does not happen. Get him the fuck out of here quickly. Yes, put police at Drake's house. All that shit. Watch both of these niggas, okay? That ain't got nothing to do with Drake or Kendrick. That is Toronto police saying, look, we don't want some bullshit happening from one of your fans or one of your this, that, and the third. We are just going to make sure this shit is locked the fuck down. And when he leaves, it's going to be even more locked the fuck down. When he come back, it's going to be locked down. And when he leave again, for the last time, we going to make sure he gets out of here in case something happens. So that should be pulling out the Roger Century, or there was a politician at the show as well. So there was an extra police there day one. That's what I'm saying. It's different reasons why that would even be happening, right? Like I said, they don't want shit to happen in their city. They just don't want shit to happen in their city. So to make sure it doesn't happen, they ain't got nothing to do with Kendrick skating off because of a beef happening. No, that's Toronto saying, get the fuck out of here. Go before something do happen.
Police escort, and he's kind of jabbing him over that.
I'm gonna show you what to do, little. Hey, I'm gonna show you what to do, little boy.
This is from Too Hard for the Radio. So this is Drake's attempt at the West Coast record, but
now I'm noticing he's mostly catching a lot of the Kendrick bars. He's also going to break down some he might, I think, get into some other people, but I'm noticing here a lot that he's just breaking down a lot of the Kendrick disses. There's other people, of course, like I said, that he dissed in the record. He's going to mention the Cole one too, but there's other people that, like I said, he mentioned. I'm gonna wait till I hope he does bring up the Atlanta record, because I do want to bring that up as well.
Instead of going for the LA sound, like we heard on Not Like Us, Drake goes for the Bay Area sound. I mean, and even the LA sound, it's still pretty influenced by the Bay Area. Drake has short jokes for Kendrick for days, so you'll often hear him call him little boy, little guy, this and that.
You put that jacket on anybody, your funeral bound.
And on the song Make Them Remember, this is where a huge percentage of the disses from Iceman are on. This on this one song. Drake is talking about having this keto jacket put on him.
A booster seat for your sales, analyze that you tell.
He's still making short jokes. Hey, a booster seat for your sales. Basically saying, oh, you're making pedo jokes to boost your sales. That's kind of like a low life thing to do. And it's also a short joke, you know, booster seats, car seats. Basically saying Kendrick Lamar is so small, he should be sitting in the booster seat.
And all summer pedal bars going #1, and yet y'all trying to tell me who's grooming who.
You can see here Drake is referencing Not Like Us again, saying y'all was riding all summer to pedo bars to a song calling the guy a pedo. Yet I'm supposed to be the groomer. Like, he's trying to turn it on the audience here.
A Billboard #1, man, whoop-de-doo. They rigging the game because you fighting the biggest artist.
So Drake is still holding true to this point that the industry is being rigged against us. So he's saying, yo, F a Billboard chart, because obviously you need the industry's help to chart that high on Billboard.
Which is very true. Which is very true. Artemis Flair, what's going on? No, I did not review the roast. I mean, it wasn't really much to review except for Kevin Hart. And I mean, Kevin Hart pretty much sold his name. So that's another reason he did the roast. He sold the rights to his name. That was kind of like his going away party without saying he was going away for a bit. But that speaks volumes to, with Drake. People needed him. That's what I was talking about before with the music business and people actually needing him. Even the fact that Kendrick Lamar was able to, be at the height of his success right now, it's still piggybacking off of the fact that he had to battle Drake to do it. That part can't be unspoken. Whether or not Kendrick Lamar is a big star or not, I always say Kendrick Lamar is a big star, just people don't know that he is. But that just, you can say that about a lot of artists that people just never heard of. There's people that never heard of Larry June. Right? I can say Larry June right now. There's a good amount of people in here that probably never heard of Larry June. Huge successful artists in the Bay. There's people in here that might not know about La Russell. People that might not know about a couple of people that's on. You know what I'm saying? But if we're talking about the biggest artist in music, which was Drake, that beef wouldn't have propelled to the height of what it was if it wasn't involving the biggest artist in music.
Board. I think in his heart, Drake kind of knows it's going to be tough because he sees himself as fighting the industry and they're fighting back against him. So he's saying, you know what? F the Billboard charts. They're rigging the game. Then he references one of Kendrick's records, Rigor Mortis.
They trying to have me stuck in this position like rigor mortis.
Now, this is specifically a very interesting diss because I've never heard a rapper dissed in this way.
They only know your name in the bigger markets, never in the little markets.
But not the little markets, not the B markets or the C.
B markets, C markets, all of those is D markets.
C markets, all of those are D markets. D, those my markets, D for Drake, right? So it's interesting because Drake is saying like, yeah, you're known in the United States, in the UK, and Europe, those big markets. But what about Cambodia? What about Belarus? The Philippines? Drake is kind of bragging on having smaller markets. Usually you'll see that diss flip the other way. Like, yeah, you're only known in small markets. I'm known in big markets. But, Drake flips it the other way.
Plot twist, the owl never sees the cage. The owl only wakes up to seize the day.
Now, this bar is directly referencing the Not Like Us music video where Kendrick Lamar has the owl in a cage, owl being OVO's record label logo. And then we have some more direct rebuttals.
Swayze, my God, sock it to me, numbers. You dig?
Not Like Us.
Talking about hiding the Bible, maybe y'all should read a page.
On that song, Kendrick Lamar says,
beat your ass and hide the Bible if God watching.
Drake literally directly rebuts the line.
Talking about hiding the Bible, maybe y'all should read a page.
Y'all talking about hiding the Bible? Well, you should read a page of it. And Drake goes on to accuse Kendrick of blasphemy.
The blasphemy you talk, let me know that your amazing grace gon' be delayed.
Having iced out crosses.
Iced out crosses on their necks thinking Jesus saves.
The crown of thorns that he wore for performances, portraying Jesus. He's saying like, yo, you're pretty blasphemous. You're talking about the Bible and all this. Well, you should read it because if you did, you wouldn't be doing these certain things.
I wanna wipe that little smug look right off of your face.
I do think this bar here is very funny because Drake delivers the bar like he's just still so pissed about it. Like, man, I want to wipe that smug little smile off of your face. I can only...
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. The owl represents the Bohemian Grove Society. It's actually the logo of Bohemian Grove, which, I mean, that's I won't get back into it now, but again, the confirmation of him being, a part of the Freemasons. Good job, Larry. That's him being a part of the Freemasons. Again, confirming that with him using the OVO. I always thought that OVO logo was a little bit funny, but then when I started realizing that the owl was to represent the Bohemian Grove Society, or I should say his membership in Bohemian Grove. Think about that, right? Just again, speaks volumes of what we were talking about before with his comparison to Michael Jackson. Michael was seen with who? Jeffrey fucking Epstein, of all people. Presidents wanted to be around Michael Jackson, okay? The president wants to be around Drake. They are very high people of power that fuck with and want to be around Drake. Well, before the Kendrick Lamar shit anyway. But he has he's got some very high up people in his phone book. Talking about Drake. He's got some very who the man? What's going on? Or what a man? What's going on? He's got some very high people up in his home book, Drake. You saw him being in the CN Tower office. You know how big a person you got to be to shut down the goddamn CN Tower in Toronto, and you just own the shit for a week. You just shooting videos and doing photo shoots and shit. You know what I mean? You putting on the mayor's chain necklace, Freemason necklace and shit. Dog, he got some high up people in his phone. Okay, I don't know if Kendrick can say that. I don't know if Kendrick can say the same thing as far as globally concerned. Known for blood sacrifice, the chain he wore known for blood sacrifice, which was very true, very true, very true. With the owl itself, even in the headlines video, that was when he first, that was around the time that the OVO logo even manifested itself. Like I said, certain things started to speak for itself with him being a part of the Freemasons, even back then with headlines. I noticed him being in the same, like, all black with the hoodie, the OVO hoodie and the gloves and whatnot. It was him pretty much just showing his initiation had been confirmed, because that was also around the time that Take Care had dropped. Take Care is like still his biggest. Take Care is like his Thriller. Take Care is his Thriller. That's his Thriller album. Take Care. So say what you want about the guy. Pretty important to business still.
I assume the smile that Drake is talking about is when Kendrick Lamar was at the Super Bowl halftime show performing Not Like Us, and then he looks right at the camera, says, "Say Drake, I heard you like 'em young." The past several bars have been from the same song. So yeah, a lot of disses front loaded on this song.
You boys too like double dates, running out the 6 like you want to race.
You running out the 6 like you run a race. So again, this is one of them references to Kendrick performing Not Like Us in Toronto, getting a police escort right to the airport, right out of Toronto, immediately after the show.
And Muggsy Bogues done for once, even I'm a bit amazed. Yeah, someone get a kid a raise.
So this is probably the most potent diss to Kendrick on this Iceman album. Muggsy Bogues dunked for once, I'm a bit amazed. Yeah, someone give the kid a raise. He knows that Kendrick had a hit record. He knows he lost that battle. He knows what Not Like Us did. So he acknowledges it. Yeah, Kendrick, you got to dunk. But at the same time, he's kind of downplaying it. Like, yeah, Kendrick, you got to dunked, but even Muggsy Bogues dunked. Muggsy Bogues being probably the shortest NBA player of all time. Muggsy Bogues had to be like, what, 5'3", 5'4". So on one hand, it's a short joke, another short joke, one of many short jokes at Kendrick. But on the other hand,
funny you say that, Marcus. Thank you for pointing that out. The all-seeing eye ring that Kendrick was sporting. It's been a couple of things, like I said, you could take reference, you could take notice to with Kendrick in the difference in before the beef and the superstar Kendrick of now. Like I said, he's very much joined forces with the label as far as this clones running around is concerned. This replacement Kendrick is definitely with the industry shits. When I heard the GNX album, I was like, this Kendrick is catering to radio? Since when this nigga make radio records? Since when this nigga actually try to make like superstar radio records? When the fuck this start happening? Something different. Something is different. Something different. Something is different. Definitely different about the guy. Definitely different about the guy. Like I said, I could definitely tell. And in him having, if you saying the Freemasonry, right? Did you see how the picture was even looking, right? No, I don't think nobody's pointed this part out. Nobody's pointed this part out, right? Kendrick Super Bowl smile. I just put Super Bowl smile in. I'm pretty sure that'll come up at him walking across. Yeah. So did anybody notice the way the hat looked? Even in the smile? Now, of course, I think it's a wing, right? I think it's a wing. But what does it look like during this smile right here? Does it not look like a devil horn? When he walked past that stage, that damn smile looked so goddamn sinister. I swear to God. But it was not take it off. Oh, damn. Hold on. Yeah, this was talking about. It's a wing, but it looks like a horn. And said this smile looks so goddamn sinister when he walked across that stage. It's like even when I see pictures like this don't look like Kendrick. And then I've never known Kendrick to wear this much fucking jewelry. For someone to be so against the industry. Does this look like something a Kendrick Lamar would wear? I'm going to just go back to 2021. Nigga, this is 2 years before the beef. This is the Kendrick 2 years before the fucking beef. This is Kendrick Lamar. Who the fuck is this? Who is this? Who is this? Who the fuck is this? Listen, I wasn't trying to get into it. Who is this nigga? Who is this nigga? It ain't this one. It is not the same nigga. That is not the same person. Let me get back into this video. I didn't mean to get off on this tangent. Back to the lyrics.
And Drake mentions Muggsy Bogues dunking because he's comparing it to Kendrick beating him in a battle. Like, yeah, what you did was an anomaly. It's a statistical anomaly. If we ran that battle back 100 times, Drake is looking at it like, yo, I would win 99 times. What you did was an anomaly, like Muggsy Bogues dunking. But congrats anyway, like you still dunked, right? And then to end the song, Drake goes,
What is it, the braids? Even when I cut them, I can never fade. I mean, it's Drizzy Drake.
He directly rebuttals Euphoria.
You got shit twisted. What is it, the braids?
What is it, the braids? And it's a little wordplay. Even if I cut the braids, I could never fade. You know, fade, haircut, but also I'm still gonna be here much longer than you will. I'm never fading out. I'm never fading away.
And y'all are talking about me having better perspective on life doing DMT.
It's on this song, Firm Friends, where Drake rebuttals a line from Meet the Grams.
But I suggest some ayahuasca, strip the ego from the bottom.
Kendrick tells him, yo, you should do ayahuasca. Basically, you should do some drug that allows you to self-observe, self-actualize yourself. Drake is actually taking the responsible father route. Basically, I'm out being a great father. Meanwhile, you guys are talking about, oh, I should be doing drugs and DMT. Yo, I don't have time for that. It's an interesting angle to take because Drake has so often been dissed for being, I guess, a bad or an absent father.
You are hiding a child. Let that boy come home. I got a son to raise, but I can see you don't know nothing about that.
But here he takes the opposite route. Like, yo, I'm hanging out with my son. We chilling. We doing cool stuff, but y'all talking about I need to be doing drugs.
I'm going back to Cali. I'm sleeping with death on my mind because of shots that I called in my time.
Here Drake quotes Biggie, I'm going back to Cali.
I'm going back to Cali.
And LL Cool J. Biggie and LL Cool J both had those records, I'm going back to Cali. I thought it would be cool to Drake if he remixed I'm going back to Cali. That would have been dope because that's what Biggie did after his beef with Tupac. He dropped I'm going back to Cali and everybody in Cali loved it. That was like his West Coast record and we loved it, right? But he didn't do that. But he quotes it. He says, I'm back in Cali. I'm sleeping with death on my mind because the shots that I called in my time. Here he gets a little dark. He's like, yeah, I'm back in Cali where Kendrick Lamar is from, but he's thinking death because of what he's done to other people. He feels that the other side might try to do it to him because he's in op land, California op. He probably looks at it as op land, right? And then lastly, on the song Make Them Know.
How do they say they got classes if it's that you never revisited?
Drake rebuts a line from Euphoria where Kendrick goes, next rapper to catch shots on Iceman is none other than the last third of the big three, J. Cole.
Me, I stood 10 T's and accepted the mission. Cause I much rather death than submission.
Now, these bars from the song Make Them Pay are very telling. I stood 10 toes. I accepted the mission because I'd much rather death than submission. But obviously, at this point, everyone knows about J. Cole's infamous apology to Kendrick Lamar on stage at his concert.
How many people think Kendrick Lamar is one of the greatest to ever touch microphone? That was the lamest, goofiest shit, and it made me feel like 10 years ago.
He backs out of the battle. He takes back his diss record. He deletes his diss record from the Might Delete Later album. Drake calls that submission. Drake says, hell, I would rather get my head taken off by Kendrick Lamar than submit in a battle to him.
How can you press the ignition and let some memories of the past affect your decision?
So Drake is calling it out. J. Cole, you stepped on the ignition. You pressed the ignition with the 7-minute drill record, dissing Kendrick Lamar, but then you backed out. Because you have memories of the past with Kendrick Lamar and all this good stuff, you let those memories affect your decision and pump the brakes on what you already had, what we already had planned.
I love you cause of the history, but if we being real, I could never forget you.
I could never forgive you. So this is a little bit scathing because J. Cole is doing all these interviews after the Fall Off dropped, talking about how he still loves Drake. I mean, he wants to be friends.
He was like, yo, I didn't want to come down there and put you in a situation on that stage and say some shit that you would have to stand behind. And I'm like, thank you. Thank God that you didn't, because it left the space for me to receive what I was supposed to do.
J. Cole is still keeping a very friendly frame with Drake. He's not saying really anything to diss him in these interviews, at least. In case they be friends again, he's leaving that door open. Drake flat out says, I would never forgive you.
And you never called me back, but destiny's written.
So this kind of corroborates what Maul was saying.
Tell the world why you had that conversation with Kendrick and then you never spoke to Drake again.
Which is funny as hell. The "you never call me back" line is funny as hell when you think about Cameron. A couple other people that said, yo, this nigga don't never text nobody, baby. Cole saying himself in interviews, yo, I got a bad habit of never calling people back or texting people back. So Drake just throwing a funny joke in there like, hey, you never did call me back.
This day has never spoke to Drake again.
Based on what Maul from the Rory and Maul podcast said, and based on what Drake is saying, there was some phone call that Drake sent to J. Cole that never got responded to. And that seems to be a big issue of why Drake is pissed at him.
Fuck a big three anyway. There was too many chefs in the kitchen. It was a mess to begin with.
So we've come full 360. This whole catalyst of this Kendrick and Drake beef was Kendrick going on the Future song like that.
I heard that line. I had to stop full-fledged in front of my TV. Like, what did he just say? Fuck the big three. It was too many chefs in the kitchen. The shit was a mess to begin with. I was like, oh, god damn.
The big three. Nigga, it's just big me.
We've come full circle. And now Drake has realized.
No, he will not. Cole has pretty much already confirmed he is peace unto him. He is kumbaya. Cole is kumbaya. That is Jay Kumbaya. What would you call him now? Jay Kumbaya. He is no longer stepping into beef. That boy a vegetarian. He not dealing with no type of beef. You name your album Might Delete This Later, and then you literally delete the shit later, including the diss record that you did to Kendrick, which was kind of a like, nigga, I don't want to fight you, but nigga, I got these hands too. That was one of those type of records. Because even if you listen to the record, he's not saying anything super disrespectful except for he's talking about like, oh, nobody heard your albums and all that shit. Just little brother taps is what that was. That was my brother put me in a headlock for no reason. I'm still standing up for myself type shit. That's what that was between Kendrick and Cole. And then Cole realized, he said, wait, this ain't got nothing to do with me. This between you two niggas. Let me just smooth moonwalk up out of this, because this ain't got nothing to do with me at all. And he makes the announcement at Dream Fest or whatever it was called. But yeah, Cole don't want no parts or no smoke. Boy, it was that funny ass animation. I don't got the video of it no more. But what's that? Drake, J. Cole, Kendrick. Where's the animation? This shit is still forever funny as hell. Oh damn, ads. This shit is still funny as hell to me. The description of the beef, because this describes J. Cole right here. Didn't J. Cole back out before push-ups? Yeah, J. Cole backed out the beef with the shit. He smooth moonwalked about that shit. As soon as motherfucking yeah, when push-ups dropped, actually. When push-ups dropped, that's when Might Delete This Later happened. Why did Drake feel the well, because it's still like he just said, nigga, it was me and you on a record together. We was ready to stand 10 toes down against the world. As big, you know what I'm saying? And get the big three together with, Kendrick, Cole, and me. And then when this shit happened and Kendrick said, fuck all y'all, nigga, you just skated off and left me. That's why Drake is sad about. That's why Drake mad about that shit. Like, nigga, you started this big three shit. now this motherfucking big three shit. This is what big three turned into. This is the big three. This shit was funny as hell. Cole just sitting down there on his bike crying, listening to what happened. Don't that describe the goddamn battle? that shit still describes the battle. A slow knife that dug into that nigga. Cole just stood and watched by. Cole just watched it happen. That's why Drake said, no, nigga, I'm not gonna forgive you. You just stood by and let this shit happen to me. And then you pump faked trying to diss him back. And then you just step back and said, no, I ain't gonna do it. No, fuck you too, Cole.
Yeah, Kendrick was right. F the big three. It was a mess anyways, man. Drake also jabs at J. Cole by saying,
I could have fell back like the married rapper, but we engaged. I told y'all I'm settled in my evil ways.
It's basically saying we engaged in the battle with Kendrick, whereas J. Cole, who was the married rapper here, fell back. We know this is about J. Cole because in the very next bar, Drake says,
I told y'all I'm settled in my evil ways.
I'm settled in my evil ways. Drake and J. Cole have a song together called Evil Ways.
I'm the golden goose shaking things up at Lucian's house.
So this is a more subtle shot at J. Cole. Drake says, I'm the golden goose. I'm shaking things up at Lucian's house. On J. Cole's recent mixtape, Birthday Blizzard, he had a line that seemed directed at Drake where he says,
For crumbs, dumb niggas so they sold a Lucian.
So the song is called Golden Goose, and the line itself is about Lucian Grange. And we have Drake here reaffirming, yeah, I'm the golden goose, and mentioning Lucian Grange in that same bar. Now, ASAP...
Pretty much them responding back to each other on records. Like, yeah, I am that golden goose, nigga. What about it? you know I'm that golden goose, nigga.
Rocky has been catching nasty strays from Drake.
This was just dirty. This song was just. And remember we were listening to it that Friday night. We was all just bobbing, baby, and mommy, and folks were saying. I thought the lyrics were because I wasn't reading the lyrics at the time. We were just listening to the record sonically. So I thought he was saying your baby mama even posted single. He was saying your baby mama didn't post your single. And when that was brought to my attention, I said, oh. Like the fact that he was just making sing-alongs and dances dissing the fuck out of people on this album from Janet Shut the Fuck Up to the Kawhi Leonard diss to the LeBron Jay, like him making these sing-alongs while he's dissing people. He came back, like I said, full-fledged swinging. To make a TikTok dance, where she at? Where she at? To make a dance at a dissing Rihanna and ASAP is kind of crazy.
Like
we sharing women that are already at the height of my success.
So Drake just continually holds the fact that he and Rihanna had a thing over A$AP Rocky's head. Obviously, A$AP Rocky and Rihanna, they are an item currently, but Drake just kind of seems to keep holding that over his head because A$AP Rocky often will bring up the fact that he had a thing with Drake's baby mom.
Smash before you birth, son. Flacco hit it first, son.
It was like these two guys have history with each other's baby moms in the past, and they just keep taunting each other over.
I'm sitting here saying to myself, like, I wonder what 2 Chainz got to say about all this shit. I wonder. Because at one point, the one thing that everybody always brings up is the fact that it was Drake's tour. Drake brought A$AP Mob and TDE on his tour. And 2 Chainz on his tour. He brought all 3 of their groups on Drake's tour. That part always gets brought up. Yeah, I put you on your first tour, nigga. To my both of them. Both of them. Let's call a spade a spade. A$AP wouldn't have met Rihanna if it wasn't for him. She popped out on his tour while A$AP Mob was there. That's how him and Rihanna met. Through this nigga's tour. People forget that part.
Yo, baby mama ain't even post a single damn.
So Burning Bridges is essentially just an entire A$AP Rocky diss.
I'm sorry, but that song is funny as hell and it's catchy as hell. Yo, baby, mama ain't even post a single damn. Where's she at? That shit catchy as hell. I can't even lie.
The whole song seems to be about, yo, A$AP Rocky, I don't like you, but I'm never burning bridges with your baby mom, Rihanna.
But I still got love for your missus and a sister. We can't burn them bridges.
Like he's like leaving a door open for Rihanna. It's pretty damn cryptic, like I still love your baby moms and all this. And Drake opens the verse by telling A$AP Rocky, hey, look in the mirror and see what talking gets you. So basically Drake is saying like, yo, you need to stop talking about me. You got cut up, stabbed last time you was talking about somebody. So maybe you should just chill.
You saw my brother, you was trying to fix it. Now you drop your album and you back dissing.
You know, A$AP Rocky dropped an album earlier this year. There were a couple bars on A$AP Rocky's Don't Be Dumb album that could be construed as disses to Drake.
Still my flow, so I stole your bitch.
Drake is basically like, yeah, I caught that. And you want to put a little couple diss bars in here? Well, I got a song for you and your chick right here. I'm effing up power couples. So that's from the song Too Hard from the Radio. This could apply to either A$AP Rocky or Pusha T. It's that last bar that has me thinking that it's more so about Pusha T. And like, yo, your name was...
So I want to on up to that part, right? So I went to the Wayne one. I thought this was a Gucci Mane diss. I was completely wrong. He was talking about Jay-Z and Pusha being in the Epstein files and their names getting redacted. I didn't pay attention to that part.
Redacted, which Pusha T was briefly mentioned in that whole fiasco, right?
Nigga, KYSASAP, that's some shit that you could do for me.
I mean, this one is just pretty self-explanatory. KYSASAP, yourself, ASAP. Do I even need to break this down? So this is from the song Firm Friends.
I did not break up a happy home, baby, you pulled up on me.
He says, I did not break up a happy home. Girl, you came to me.
Tell him why you really hate me and what year did she date me.
So again, to me, this just appears to be Drake mocking A$AP Rocky, saying the same thing virtually that they've been saying back and forth to each other. Hey, I slept with your baby mom before you did. Oh, well, I slept with your baby mom before you did. So LeBron James actually catches a good amount of strays on Iceman simply for appearing at Kendrick Lamar's pop-out show where Kendrick Lamar performed Not Like Us, 5-6 times. Drake did not take kindly to that.
Buzzer beater. Don't be suddenly eager to hit me up and have no discussions either.
Don't make us hit another buzzer beater. And don't be suddenly eager to hit me up and have no discussions either. So this could apply to either LeBron James or DeMar DeRozan, who both caught strays for the same reason, appearing at Kendrick Lamar's pop-out show.
I saw bro in the pop-out with Denver and Ryan Gangsta's headlines.
So this bar from What Did I Miss? It just presses on Drake's actual issue of these guys showing up at the pop-out show, whether it's LeBron James or DeMar DeRozan. He didn't take kindly to that. He feels they shouldn't have shown up at all. Obviously, Drake feels like he and LeBron and he and DeMar DeRozan's relationships were stronger friendships to where they wouldn't even consider doing something like that.
I shouldn't even be shocked to see you in that arena.
I don't know what happened to it. I'll get the rest of it here. Give me 1 second. Because I already know where that was. Not sure why I did that, but
Wall.
oh shit! It's towards the end of it too. It's towards the end of it. I end up getting YouTube Premium because I can't deal with the ads no more. I can't deal with the ads no more.
Relationships were stronger friendships to where they wouldn't even consider doing something like that.
I shouldn't even be shocked to see you in that arena. You always made your career off of switching teams up.
I think this is a great diss also. I shouldn't be shocked to see you in that pop-out arena because you made your career off switching teams up. So we know that LeBron James, he infamously left the Cleveland Cavaliers to join the Miami Heat to win the championship. Then he left the Heat to go back to the Cavaliers. Then he left the Cavs again to go to the Lakers. So Drake is like, hey, I'm not surprised you switched up on me. You've been switching up your entire NBA career.
Please stop asking about what's going on with 23andMe. I'm a real and he's not.
I do like this 23andMe bar.
It's in my DNA.
23andMe, they're like a DNA company. Drake ties the bar together by saying like, yo, LeBron, he's not real. I'm real.
That's clever as hell.
It's in my DNA. What happened between 23andMe? LeBron James wears the number 23. And DeMar DeRozan actually gets a huge brunt of disses on the song National Treasures.
Send him a sack 'cause I wanted you shipped to the king.
So DeMar DeRozan currently plays in Sacramento for the Kings. So that's the sack and the king reference there. Double entendre.
Yeah, he got him traded to the Kings because he didn't want him no more in the Raptors.
Must have been dealing in Spurs.
Don't fuck with the ambassador now.
The moment, why did we think you could get us a ring?
We must have been dealing in spur of the moment. Because why did we think you could get us a ring? So this is some NBA talk. DeMar DeRozan used to play for the Toronto Raptors. They were good, but not great. They never won a championship with DeMar DeRozan on the team. It was only after the Toronto Raptors shipped DeMar DeRozan over.
Bees, what's going on? Yeah, the KD ain't going nowhere. Durant ain't going nowhere. You didn't see him in videos and whatnot. He was at the whatchamacallit video. He ain't going nowhere.
Away and picked up Kawhi Leonard that they won a championship.
The Toronto Raptors are a college sports team, I promise you. I love this team, and we're going to the NBA Finals. Let's go!
G-Pop sent us a real one from Dago, and next thing we knew we was doing parade.
I never know where that Drake meme came from. Now I do see it. Where he looked all crazy at the crowd and whatnot. Now I see.
G-Pop sent us a real one from Dago. G-Pop is the coach of the Spurs, who Drake mentions earlier in the verse. The real one from Dago is Kawhi Leonard, who I mentioned earlier. And the next thing we know, we was doing parades. So yeah, Drake is talking about DeRozan, you wasn't that good. Once we traded you for Kawhi Leonard, we immediately won a championship. You're a bum. That's basically what he's saying here.
Go to the hotel right after your game. Don't stick around in the 6.
Now these are a little bit cryptic bars. He's saying go to the hotel right after your game. Don't stick around the 6. So there was that time where DeMar DeRozan returned to Toronto and Drake was there.
Yes, if you ever put a DeRozan banner up, I'll go up there and pull it down myself. That's the answer to your question.
It seems that Drake is hinting at, yo, you should not come outside in Toronto. I've got something planned.
Also, right, if you think about this, remember this? This wasn't just promo for the album. This was him also sending a shot. The Raptors game had Iceman seats. Now, he didn't show up to the game, but he had the Iceman seats. Now, remember before, the last time he was here, the Raptors game was him damn near having some shit was about to happen on the court from him just getting up, bucking at DeMar. But he pretty much sends a threat message by having these Iceman seats. It wasn't just promo for the album as much as it was to send a little shot. Now, of course, he doesn't play for him anymore. But It was still to send the shot what he was talking about. Like, if you ever show your ass back up here again, I'm here. I'm still here. If you come play in Toronto again, you may not play for us no more, but you bring your ass back here, go to the hotel, take your ass back home. Don't stick around here. Where's the goddamn video now?
Plan for you. Right after your game, go straight to the hotel. And after you leave your hotel, go straight to the airport, like Kendrick did. Do not stick around. Even Jay-Z called some strays on this Iceman album.
My niggas run the phone soon as you check in a prison.
So this is from the song Make Them Pay.
Your niggas run and talk the whole for a second opinion.
Drake is saying like, yo, my guys are thoroughbreds. When my guys go to prison, they run the phones, they run the TVs. Basically, they're those guys.
There though. And we all know Jay-Z's affiliations. He said it in records himself. Jay-Z, the documentary he did about the guy that was wrongly incarcerated. Jay-Z has ties in the prison system. That's another double entendre broader he used with my niggas run a phone as soon as they check into prison. Because he's also speaking to volumes about what the allegations with Tory Lanez and Jay-Z. You niggas run and talk to Hov for a second opinion. That wasn't necessarily him talking about, y'all run and get Hov for y'all, for everything y'all need to do, whatever. That was him acknowledging Jay's connections. It's slick right there. That was him acknowledging Jay's connections without him saying it.
So he's looking at Jay-Z like your opinion isn't worth anything. Like, why would you ask Jay-Z for his opinion on stuff? My guys are leaders. My guys do this. Your guys is getting advice from Jay-Z. He's looking at Jay-Z like he's a peon.
I take 500K not a dinner. I never could learn from none of y'all.
That was hard. that was hard. And I didn't realize until this came out that he was saying that when he said that. Because like I said, we were listening to it sonically, so I didn't have the lyrics out. And it sounded like, again, similar to what the Baby Mama posted single. It sounded like he said, I take 500 out to dinner. Or down to dinner, whatever. And I didn't catch that he was talking about the reference of, would you rather 500,000 or dinner with Jay-Z? I didn't even correlate the two with that. I did not correlate the two.
And that's echoed by this bar from Whisper My Name where Drake says, yo, I'll take 500K over to dinner with Jay-Z. Because, there's a whole meme that people used to say, yo, would you take $500,000 or would you take dinner with Jay-Z? And then some people for real seriously would answer, well, I'll take dinner with Jay-Z over $500,000. If I have dinner with Jay-Z, I can ask him about business. I can pick his brain about business. People used to say this. So Drake is playing off of that meme like, yo, I'm taking 500,000 over dinner with Jay-Z because Jay-Z can't teach me nothing. And there's also the island hopping bar from Too Hard for the Radio.
Damn, y'all was really island hopping back then. Huh, now your names got redacted.
That we mentioned earlier that I think could be about Pusha T or Jay-Z. Their names were kind of surrounding the Epstein files. So yeah, Pusha T, the Clips, they infamously had to buy their way.
Promise y'all, I'm gonna get the premium. I'm gonna get premium soon. I promise y'all. I can't deal with this ad shit no more.
Deal.
Difference between niggas getting you out of your deal and letting you out of your deal.
No, he had to pay. He had to pay.
Again, I warmed to it. I thought this was about Weeknd. He has bars later on about Weeknd, but in referencing the house. But I didn't realize this was that Pusha.
Meanwhile, Drake is getting out of his record deal by, I guess, dropping albums, suing the label. Drake saying like, yo, there's a difference. I'm getting out of my deal. They are letting you out of your deal. There's a difference.
Against your will, how many new names do you got on your will?
Against your will, how many new names you got on your will? So I think this could apply to Kendrick also, as it does either Pusha T or Kendrick. Drake is talking about extortion to a degree. You know, Kendrick left a TDE deal and went to PG Lane, but then the Clips also spoke about getting out of their deal. So that's why I think it could apply to either Kendrick or the Clips. So what Drake is hinting at is, like, what did you have to do to get out of that deal? For real, for real. Did you have to add one of them guys, one of them executives to your will? Do they get points on your next couple albums? Like what was the deal y'all struck up? Because I'm sure it was terrible.
I got all the chains that they ever repped in Virginia.
So this one is a shot at Pharrell. In a Family Matters video, Drake has a bunch of Pharrell chains that he bought in an auction. Drake has been trying to mock Pharrell with...
Now, while we're on the subject of auctions, a very weird headline came across to me earlier, and I was hoping to God it wasn't true. I was hoping to God this wasn't true. Apparently it is. Apparently it is. I don't know why he did this. This nigga bought Michael Jackson's underwear for $400,000. Why are you buying Michael Jackson's drawers? Why do they look like panties? That's a different question to me right now. Why does he have glitter briefs at that? I'm confused. I'm just all the way confused by this. I am just all the way confused by him purchasing Michael Jackson's underwear. Could someone please unconfuse me with why you would pay almost $400,000 for some underwear? I'm trying to figure this out. This goes along the lines of Kim Kardashian getting Marilyn Monroe's hair. Okay, this goes along the lines of that. But we talking about the same nigga that has people's faces tattooed on his body, the whole faces at that. So I could get you buying Tupac's ring and Pharrell's chains, even Michael Jackson's glove. What the fuck are you doing with the underwear? that part be just over my head. Like, what are you doing with the underwear, Drake? And like I said, I hope it come out as a lie. I hope it come out as a lie that he did, but I don't know what to make of that one. He spent $400,000 on Michael Jackson's underwear, and like I said, the part that still gets me is why the briefs. Not even the buy. Why is there golden glitter briefs? And why are they not in better condition? Well, like he took them shits off and threw them in a pile somewhere, and they never got to the laundry. Anywho.
With these chains, I mean, Pharrell put the chains up for auction. He didn't want them anymore. Drake thinks it's a thing to mock Pharrell. Like, yeah, I bought your chains. I got your prized possessions.
I got niggas prized possessions. I get possessive on niggas.
This is from the song Firm Friends.
I know niggas going crazy as I cop all the items you niggas put up for sale.
And here, Drake is continuing to talk about those items that he bought at an auction. You know, I think if I put items up for auction, I would be happy that we had a buyer. But I guess Drake is thinking of it like, I'm the last person they would want to have their chains that they put on for auction. Personally, I think they're happy that someone bought it. I think Kanye West caught a couple of strays on Iceman also.
If I'm lying, I'm flying economy. I bet I know who I see.
He said, if I'm lying, I'm flying. So that's a play on the phrase, oh, if I'm lying, I'm dying. But then some people say, oh, if I'm lying, I'm flying. Drake takes it another step and says, yo, if I'm lying, I'm flying economy. Basically saying, yo, I never fly economy. I'm a business class dude. I'm a private jet, first class dude. He's taking jabs at Kanye West, who was allegedly seen flying economy with his girlfriend, Bianca. And on the song Ran to Atlanta,
all you boys losing it and you need to take meds, hey.
Drake says, yo, you boys need to take your meds. Who is the rapper that's famously on medications? I'm sure a lot of people are on medications. There's a lot of mental health issues going around. But Kanye West is kind of the one who's taking that mantle. Like, yo, I'm bipolar, this and that. Drake is like, bro, he needs to take his meds. Tell him to stop talking about me. The Weeknd has actually been in Drake's crosshairs for a while.
Boy, better be ready and able, I'm coming.
On the song Plot Twist, Drake seems to be describing this very cryptic, very dark event that
Twisted at Me is definitely at the Weeknd. And if you look, it's at the house. Think about it now. It's at the house in Houston. It's not at the house in Toronto. It's at the house in Houston. And even in the video, he's like, I'm twisting it. He's twisting at me. I'm twisting that shit because he's twisting at me. He's talking about them two being, he's talking about two people being in the same place at the same time. Who will be two people that will be in the same place at the same time other than Drake and The Weeknd because they're both from Toronto? And if you think about it, right, him being at the house in Houston also speaks volumes to what happened with the shooting. We did a breakdown on that before. The house with what happened with him with the shooting was over the OVO XO beef. Amir Cash, his security got shot literally a week before Drake's security guard got shot. And we all know about Belly having to do, I should say Belly being affiliated with OVO XO. When I did the breakdown on that, pretty much it was a message being sent back to Drake like, yo, you shoot one of ours, we're going to shoot one of yours. You keep playing over here, we're going to play back harder. And he was dissing The Weeknd on push-ups. The weak push-ups came out when he was dissing Amir Cash getting shot at. All of a sudden, his security guard gets shot. That was them sending the shot right back at Drake. Like, yeah. Keep keying on records. This shit ain't about records. It's OVO XO shit. So that's why he threw the little slight jabs. Like I said, I knew he was throwing jabs at Weeknd. I just couldn't catch which records he was throwing them at. I knew he was throwing shots at The Weeknd though.
That happened where he and his team approached somebody and things happened, right? But in this song specifically, Drake says, "You better be ready and able."
Of course, Able being Able is The Weeknd's actual government name.
Weeknd's real name is what? Abel Tesfaye. So Playboi Carti also caught a stray, which could be connected to The Weeknd.
Baby boy, please. I heard what you said to little bro about me.
Why does Drake say baby boy? It's rumored that Playboi Carti's next album will be titled Baby Boy. So he's directly referencing Playboi Carti.
And when you run into the ice, man, what you gonna do except freeze?
Playboi Carti is in Drake's crosshairs. Why? He and Drake had worked together in the past, but then here comes Playboi Carti on his last album, Music. He's got 3 Kendrick Lamar features on it.
I didn't even catch that. So that's a good one right there. I didn't even catch that part right there. Playboi Carti was the one getting dissed on Whisper My Name.
Anyone that was remotely linked to Kendrick is catching strays, except Future, right? This is the one person, I guess, that Drake doesn't want to fall out with.
You're not by the squeeze. You're not in the streets.
So I know a lot of people love Playboi Carti. They love his music. Drake just looks at him like a peon. You're not from the streets. When you run into me, you aren't going to do anything. You don't know how to shoot a gun. You're not about that life.
Dog, I was Aiden Ross with streams before Aiden Ross had ever streamed.
I was Aiden Ross with streams before Aiden Ross ever streamed. So yeah, Aiden Ross is one of the most popular streamers, but it's a play on words. I was aiding Rick Ross with streams. Drake is basically referencing all the songs, all the hit records that he has with Rick Ross. I was helping you out with your records before Aiden Ross had ever streamed. This is just a nice little play on words. Rick Ross also gets dissed on What Did I Miss?
Get punched in the face with some TLC on a dead guy.
So there was that situation.
I didn't even catch that. Get punched in your face on some TLC shit because he got punched in his left eye. Yo, that's crazy. I never even heard that one. That get punched in your face on some TLC shit because he got hit in his left eye.
Situation where Rick Ross got punched out. I mean, this is right after his diss record towards Drake.
Some TLC because my gonna need a chili ice pack for your left eye.
Drake makes a
I didn't even pay attention to that bar going at Ross. That's funny as hell.
TLC reference, you're gonna need a chili ice pack for your left eye. You know, chili from TLC, Lisa Left Eye Lopez. DJ Khaled, of all people, catches a stray just for remaining silent.
And Khaled, you know what I mean. The beef was fully live. You went halal and got on your dean.
Just for not coming to Drake's help during a battle. Now, obviously, Khaled is very close with Rick Ross, but Khaled catches a very personal stray.
And your people are still waiting for a free Palestine.
So to understand this diss, you have to keep in mind that Drake is Jewish and DJ Khaled is Palestinian.
But apparently everything isn't black.
Man 90, what's going on? No, Janice, the Janice he's talking about, I know people were thinking it's about him saying Janice shut the fuck up, but even if you listen to the whole record of Janice, and in the video, he has a very successful businesswoman that's pretty much just in confusion and whatnot about Drake being back out. He's talking to Janice Jose, the head of partnership at Universal Music Group. He wasn't really talking to the mom of Baby Keem, because Baby Keem didn't necessarily play this. There wouldn't be anything for Baby Keem's mom to say about Drake. You know what I mean? There hasn't been anything that Baby Keem's mom has necessarily publicly said about Drake. You know what I mean? Janice, however, Janice Jose, the reason why he's going at Janice is because, like I said, Janice Jose is a part of Universal Music Group. So him making a big single like Janice Shut the Fuck Up, the radio signal right now, him pretty much saying, yeah, I'm back hot in these streets. What are you going to say now about me? What the fuck are y'all going to say now? Janice, shut the fuck up. Y'all can't say nothing now. Y'all thought y'all had me killed. Y'all thought y'all had me dead. Y'all thought my career was going to be done. I couldn't make no radio records. Boom. Janice, shut the fuck up.
Black and white and red and green.
And just understand the situation going on in that region. Drake says the beef was live. I was battling with Kendrick, but Khaled, you chose to go halal. Like, basically, you don't want no beef. Drake takes it further, like, hey, we never heard you say free Palestine, DJ Khaled. Your people are still waiting on you to say free Palestine. But I guess for you, it's not that important. It is a very personal diss considering what's going on in that region, and also considering the context of Drake being Jewish and Khaled being Palestinian. Probably one of the more personal shots on this entire album. DJ Mustard even caught a stray on the song Too Hard for the Radio.
Must have heard about us, gotta catch up to the slaps. Yeah, ain't had it once since me and YG rap.
He says Mustard ain't had a hit since me and YG rapped. So Drake is referencing his song Who Do You Love? YG featuring Drake, produced by DJ Mustard, and it was a hit record.
Can't say that Mustard hasn't had a hit since me and YG rap. He's had quite a lot, especially with Roddy Ricch. Kid Ink. He's had a few. He's had quite a few. And then this new one with Kendrick, yeah, he's had quite a few since then. Quite a few. Yeah, we know. I can't remember the name of it now. One of the records, Drake specifically says 400,000 on the head. On Make Them Remember. Not Make Them, I keep saying Make Them Remember. Make Them Know. On Make Them Know. He references the 400,000 that he has on Kendrick's head.
Record.
City, bitch, we remember that. Damn, you should try and get back to that.
He's saying like, yo, Rack City, remember those songs, Mustard, that you did 10, 15 years ago? You should get back to making songs like that.
That was still a double shot at Tyga. I don't care what nobody say. He was dissing Tyga too, because Tyga was seen at the Tyga made the video at the Super Bowl. Tyga made the video of everybody bopping their heads at Not Like Us at the Super Bowl.
You don't have any hits recently. DJ Mustard is catching a stray because he produced Not Like Us. Dr. Dre even catches a stray because he was at the Pop-Out show and he helped Kendrick Lamar open the song Not Like Us.
That ain't why. That ain't why. That is not why. That is not why. This is why. When Lucian Grange and Dr. Dre high-fived each other, when Kendrick was going up to get the Grammys, Lucian and Dre high-fived each other like, yeah, nigga, we did it. We took him down. we took him down. That's what that was about.
If Drake took out the AK, maybe he'd be in jail. Just based off the name of his spells.
Drake is looking at Dr. Dre and Kendrick like, hey, how are y'all accusing me of evil acts when you got Dr. Dre on stage with you, who has been accused of many more evil acts?
Heard they got special places in hell for niggas joking about evil when they did it themselves.
And he picked me up, lifted me up off the ground.
By your hair?
By my hair. Slammed me up against the brick wall. He continued to assault me in the women's restroom.
You sexually assaulted?
I'm not comfortable talking about everything right now.
He's trying to point out this hypocrisy with quote unquote that side. Lucian Grange, Dr. Dre, Kendrick Lamar. And lastly, Joe Budden catches a nasty stray.
Who knows which one of his bubble-shaped things I must have ushered through the double gates.
Drake and Joe Budden have this thing where they date the same girls, or Drake is cracking the girls that Joe Budden is talking to. And over the years, Drake just taunts Joe Budden about it. He's like mocking him.
Showed at the time of a life while broski having stomach aches, hearing about good times at Lovers Lake.
Like, yo, I had your girl out there swimming with dolphins. She was having a time of her life. Meanwhile, you back in Newark, New Jersey, sick, stomach aches.
And send it back to you while you sleepwalking naked in another state.
That shit was just cold. Because he's talking about when him having the incident with his neighbor that had him sleepwalking and knocking on the door looking crazy. Oh my God, that's just
mentions Joe Budden's sleepwalking incident. I'll let Joe Budden speak on that himself.
That's the door that I decided to sleepwalk butt-ass naked.
You'll let us see another day, and even if you don't, it's just another day.
Then he goes on to basically say, Joe Budden, your life is completely worthless. This whole little scheme is set up by Drake saying like, yo, I had your girl. We was loving on each other. You was sick. Then he goes, but it's okay. You'll live to see another day though. But even if you don't live to see another day, it's just another day. No one would even care if you died. It's crazy, unnecessarily mean, right? But yeah, anyway, those are all the shots on the Iceman album. Let me know if I missed any.
I mean, it was a couple. One to note, it's not anything major, but on the song where he's rapping with Future, he mentions I done put up half, what's done is done, you know what I'm saying? The half he put up, when he was saying I put up half, he was talking about Young Thug legal fees. I done put up half, what's done is done, you know what I'm saying? Young Thug publicly confirmed that Drake provided massive financial assistance during his YSL Rico battle. He put up $1 million in cash. He gifted him $1 million in cash when he came home. Gifted him $1 million in cash. He spent $500,000 on his legal fees for Thug to even beat the case. Like all that Brian Steele shit coming up, Diddy's lawyer coming out, that was Drake. All that shit was Drake to get Thug out of jail. That's why you hear Thug even on the phone saying, "Yeah, Drake put people on. Drake helped niggas out. Kendrick ain't help nobody. Drake helped everybody out." All right, what was the hidden messages that were behind the song Whisper My Name. Apparently there was a lot of subliminals on Whisper My Name. Now, we just went over a lot of the lyrics that were on there, but this one goes into the deep-rooted part of the video. And it was very important to go across this because this leads into my next thing we're going to talk about with Trap Lord Ross and him finding out Drake was exposing the human trafficking ring.
Drake just dropped a new visual and I decoded the hidden meaning behind it. Here are all the hidden messages in the Whisper My Name music video. Make sure you stick around to the end of this to see how it all ties together. And trust me, you're gonna want to watch this whole thing. Drake, Aubrey Graham, The Boy, or whatever you want to call him, has officially dropped his highly anticipated album, Iceman, along with 2 additional albums, Maid of Honor and Habibti, which we will talk about in another video for other reasons. The Toronto rapper has been teasing this album since August of 2024 when he suddenly dropped hints following his 100 Gigs EP. You know, the massive data dump of behind the scenes videos and photos of his rise through hip hop. Me personally, I think they dropped the ball on that. They could have easily taken that footage and make a well-executed documentary, but I digress. He would also post Formula 1 driver Kimi Raikkonen and actor Val Kilmer, in which they are both known for their Iceman nicknames.
You want to know who the best is? That's him, Iceman.
And a screenshot of a music folder labeled 2.0 Iceman. Most importantly, people are interested in what Drake has to say following the insane back and forth battle with the Compton rapper Kendrick Lamar that took the whole industry by storm in 2024. This album has a total of 18 tracks, and at the time of this recording, Drake has dropped a total of 15 visuals within 24 hours, 13 of which is on the Iceman album. Listen, you may have some harsh critiques about his music declining in the past few years, but you can't deny that he's still one of the hardest working artists in the music industry today. So throughout this whole video of me explaining Whisper My Name, I will be referencing the other visuals as well, because there are subtle hints and Easter eggs in those visuals that support the bigger picture that I will reveal at the end of this video. So with that being said, let's get started. At the beginning of the music video, we have a cartoon being played which displays a dancing pumpkin and a small grizzly bear. This cartoon is an 8-minute and 31-second short film from 1934 called Jack Frost that was directed and produced by Iwerks, who also co-created one of the most well-known characters known to man. You want to take a guess what character that is? If you guessed Mickey Mouse, you're correct. What I find very interesting is that not only did this music video drop in May of 2026, this is the same month that Walt Disney hired Iwerks as an animator for his company over a century ago. Now the plot of this cartoon is very important to understand, and I'm gonna need you to listen up. The premise of the animated short is that animals are enjoying the warm summer and playing together, in reference to us approaching the summertime. Suddenly, Jack Frost arrives to the forest and paints the world in autumn colors. These colors represent the season of fall, which is the season that Drake was born, in October. You can see he announces the coming winter to the animals of the forest and urges them to prepare for it.
Billy Bear, have a care. Old Man Winter's in the air. You'll be sorry if he catches.
So ironically also, right, the deeper meaning to him actually even going into the Walt Disney thing, right? If we're talking about Walt Disney, right? Remember Disney just had that whole thing with the the child pornography getting caught on the ship and them having the they got a RICO case on that. It's deeper meanings and things. I said we're gonna get into Drake exposing the human trafficking ring. But this is why it speaks volumes to, like I said, him doing what he did in the Make Them Know video, him pretty much saying, if I'm going to leave, if y'all going to kill me off, y'all going to devalue me, y'all going to make my ship sink, I'm taking the ship down with me. Don't forget the ship that you invested in that I am also part of and employed by with your little trafficking ring. Don't forget that you got me making the music that, you know, behind the scenes is what you use for your blanket. Same way you use Diddy, same way you use Jay-Z as the musical blanket to cover up the curtain behind the scenes of what y'all doing. Don't make me pull this motherfucking curtain back. That's what Drake's doing right now. Drake is saying, fuck it, I'm pulling the curtain back. Do what you want now. I'm pulling the curtain back. Slow.
Winter is coming. Iceman, you see where I'm getting at? Most of the animals, fearing Old Man Winter, begin their hibernation preparation. A grizzly bear cub named Billy musically retorts,
I don't have to worry. I don't have to care. My coat is very furry. I'm a grizzly bear.
displaying that he's not afraid. That is until this happens. At the 20-second mark, the camera will pan backwards, showing the cartoon being played on the television. And at the 34-second mark, Old Man Winter, Drake, Iceman, shows up and instantly changes the climate from fall to winter. If we pan even further, you will see 3 individuals sitting watching the cartoon. Now, what do you notice about these 3 individuals? They are all wearing a mask. Specifically mask that is supposed to depict Pinocchio. Pinocchio is a fictional character created as a wooden puppet. He is widely known for his long nose, which grows when he lies. And in 1940, Walt Disney would produce the animated movie adaptation. This isn't the first time Drake referenced Pinocchio. During the rollout for this project, on the Iceman livestream episode 2 and 3, he would show these characters doing various acts like stalking and even having them sitting at a round table at what seems to be a restaurant. Okay, so look at this shot. Does anything here catch your attention? Well, how many Pinocchios are there at this table? That's right, 4. There have been speculation that Drake is subliminally throwing shots at Kendrick, Lucian Grange, Jay-Z, and Pharrell. Keep that in mind as we proceed through this video. Now, what is the reason behind them watching this cartoon? To me, in a sense, they are watching their demise. We'll get into that in just a bit. Just bear with me, alright? Just let me cook. At the 1 minute and 3 second mark, you can see 3 security screens, one displaying a warehouse where bot farming is taking place. We know this because in the Make Them Know video, Drake will be seen walking into the same warehouse shown in the security footage, dousing the bot farm in gasoline and lighting the whole thing on fire. Back in January of 2025, Drizzy filed a federal defamation lawsuit against his parent label, UMG, over the release and promotion of Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us, alleging that UMG intentionally boosted the track with fake streams, which accused them of sexual relations with minors. Which is ironic because in late 2025, Spotify will be accused of botting Drake's streams. In the song Bees on the Table featuring 21 Savage, he would rap,
I'm fighting a man, not suing a rapper, you was not listening.
And in the song Make Them Remember, he name drops Lucian Grange, the president of UMG, as the man he's fighting.
What is a loss? I'll be damned if I'm losing it now. I'm the golden goose shaking things up at Lucian's house.
As the camera pans outward, you can see an operation taking place, and the Pinocchio mask wearing individuals are preparing for something. Also notice when Drake raps,
What's my name and don't say it too loud cause you gotta come here and you know I pop out.
It goes back to the Jack Frost cartoon playing Old Man Winter, who's supposed to represent Drake. Also another diss to Kendrick when he did the pop-out concert in LA on June of 2024. In this next shot, we have one of the masked men loading what seems to be a black Mossberg 590 shotgun. And as it pans upward, the man could be seen wearing a trucker hat saying, Virginia is for lovers. Remember earlier that I stated that these Pinocchio mask wearing individuals represented people that Drake dislikes? Well, this is an evidence shot to Pharrell Williams, and you could say Pusha T, considering the fact that they are both from Virginia and that Pusha T's wife's name is Virginia Williams.
You keep playing with my name and I'ma let it ring on you like Virginia Williams.
Clearly, Drake still hasn't learned his lesson from mentioning people's loved ones.
Since you name drop my fiance, let them know who you chose as your Beyonce.
In this next shot, we see all 4 of the masked men in the vehicle headed to a destination. Then we cut to the back seat, and in between 2 of the masked men is a camo bag. Evidently, this bag is very important. Now, there's a deeper meaning behind this bag. Specifically the camouflage that contributes to the connection between all of the music videos he put out in the past 24 hours. And I realized that nobody's really talking about this. So let's get this video to 5,000 likes and I'll make a deep dive into the connection between all the—
That's very true though. That's also very well, I mean, he shows what's in the knapsack, because what was in the knapsack was where he also used to burn down everything. So that's pretty much him representing, you know, his career. The knapsack is him representing his career.
Visuals that were dropped for the Iceman project. It's very interesting to say the least. At the 2 minute and 13 second mark, we get a fade in shot of birds flying in a circle that we see Drake appear for the first time in the video. Now the imagery of the shot is interesting because you have Drake standing with a white trench coat and the visual of the birds flying around him. We continue to pan backward and we see Drake at a cemetery. In the foreground we have funeral wreaths. Now I want you to take notice of Drake's face in this shot. He has 2 white tears placed under his right eye. You need to understand that getting tears tatted on your face often signifies that the wearer has committed a murder or taken a life. And in prison cultures, the number of filled tears corresponds to the number of people that have been killed. Keep that in mind as we proceed through this video. At the 2 minute and 37 second mark, we have 8 black Cadillac Escalades driving through the cemetery. Then we see Drake walking on—
I was trying to pause on something. So I want to speak on the crows flying around him. So when you Google it, says crows flying in a circle, it's usually a practical survival tactic rather than a mystical omen. So most commonly they are mobbing a predator like an owl. Now, of course, he's not dissing himself like that, but it is actually a representation of a omen of someone that knows that, you know, something is going to happen to them. That's really what the crows flying around Drake was also to represent. Him noticing now that, you know, he's a man that's marked for death. It wasn't him pretty much saying that he's going to be put in the funeral. If you notice, he's in all white at the funeral. So he's going to get into detail about that, but notice how he's also in all white. Like he's transitioned over and he's now in his purest form. This was almost like him saying that, you know, he has to kill himself off, but also a double entendre of they're trying to kill me off.
Alongside a woman towards the Escalade. We then cut to a scene with the window open and a bland but eerie stare in Drake's eyes. He looks to his left, and in the other seat is the woman he was walking with. This would be the same woman that is in the Janice STFU video. At the 2-minute and 51-second mark, we have possibly the highlight of this whole music video in a full circle moment. Drake is seen rapping at the same location, the Gills Park Greek Theater, where he shot the Headlines video back in 2011. In this shot, he is showing the same day ones in the Headlines video are the same day ones that he still has till this day. As the camera pans backwards, we can see that there is a total of 8 pillars, the same number of Escalades that were driving through the cemetery. I thought that was very interesting. Now make sure you stay to the end of this video because there is a correlation between those 8 Escalades and also those 8 pillars that has a deeper meaning. Just stick around to the end, alright? It's all gonna come full circle, okay? Now at the 3-minute and 30-second mark, we probably have the most striking and one of the most darkest aspects of this music video. We see a vehicle flipped over from an accident, which had the 4 masked men inside. We get an overhead drone shot of Drake going inside the flipped car to retrieve the camo bag. He then proceeds to walk back to his vehicle and we see the Pinocchio masked men all killed. Now the imagery is very violent. Not only is he sending shots to the people that I've mentioned earlier, but seemingly he wants all of them dead. In this ending shot, we have Drake enter his truck and the camera pans upward to show all the snow in the trees and the birds flying. The same birds we've seen flying around Drake at the cemetery. Now, you're probably thinking, what does this all mean? Whisper My Name is one of the more aggressive tracks of the album, making subtle jabs at Kendrick, Pusha T, Pharrell, Lucian Grange, and even J. Cole.
What kind of man are you? A middle one.
And also making slick remarks at Jay-Z.
I take 500K not a dinner. I never could learn shit from none of y'all.
In this track, Drake is expressing that he's done being buddy-buddy with rappers and label heads of the music industry. And in my personal opinion, there is some fatigue in his voice, saying that he's been counted out and it's been him, his core entourage versus everybody. This is why we see him with his day ones and 8 Cadillac Escalades at the cemetery and in front of the 8 columns at the Greek Theater in Toronto, which represents strength, stability, order, and reflecting societal values. It is believed that he's taking aim at grown men that he considers little boys and liars within the music industry, which explains the Pinocchio mask. So there you have it. That is the hidden message behind Drake's Whisper My Name music video.
Okay, so, and he never did get back to the 8 shit. Anyway, so of course we knew a lot of it, but like I said, the main thing that I wanted to, of course, the reason why we even named the part Eagle Eye is because, like I said before, Drake realizes now he has this huge bullseye on him globally. So in Whisper My Name, he's literally recognizing how he has that bullseye on him and that he's literally marked for death. That's what Whisper My Name is about. He knows he's marked for death and he knows something could happen to him. But while something can happen to him and while he's on the way out, he's pretty much going to pull the curtain back on everything and let y'all know about what's going on. But he's going to subliminally do it, of course. He can't just outright tell y'all because that's the Freemason way. I got to tell you without telling you type shit. That's just the Freemason way. So he's got to let you know about things. And it's up for you to, of course, go behind the decryptions of things. But he's still pulling the curtain back as he knows that they're going to kill him off eventually. He knows that's part of this. When they do it remains to be seen. But while they're in the process of getting it ready, he's going to be doing a lot of things as far as causing a lot of chaos. And not just musically, he's going to be doing some things behind the scenes to cause a lot of chaos. It is what I'm getting at. But speaking of one of those things, it's now time for us to get into Drake exposing this human trafficking ring.
So Drake dropped his Iceman album finally. Okay, we finally got Drake clapping back to Kendrick Lamar and all of his haters on that project. He dropped 2 other albums at the same time, but now a little bit of time has passed. People have had more time to dig into the projects. apparently there's some pretty dark coded lyrics in there where Drake is not just accusing some people from Kendrick's camp of having some pretty dark allegations, but Drake, with a couple of cryptic bars, might have just exposed an entire trafficking operation and turned the not like us tables right back on the people who threw it in his face, because there's a couple lyrics that might surprise you, and I've been digging into them and I'm thinking, wait a minute, is Drake really out here exposing the next Jeffrey Epsteins in the music industry? This is actually crazy. So I can't believe what I'm seeing here, okay? But look, this is one of Drake's songs off of his Iceman album, okay? Make Them Cry. Now, this is an interesting song, okay? It's the opener, all right? This is the one where Drake kind of, he basically reveals that his father has cancer. He reveals that he's at war with the major labels. He said he's about to turn 40. How's he in battles? How's he do it? People don't talk about battling. I can't believe it. Why am I getting into all these beefs, this Kendrick? But there was one lyric that stood out, all right? There's one lyric that stood out. He said, I put the man in manifestation. Either I'm too numb to the shit or the city is changing. I bump into people and they act like we were literally strangers. Random intrusive thought, but what happened to Taz's Angels? So many people that's not around from that generation. Dudes want to talk battle, I'm battling patience, etc. Okay. What is Taz's Angels? Random intrusive thought, but what happened to Taz's Angels? So it says, this line functions as a double entendre. Drake appears to reference his curiosity about what ultimately happened to Taz's Angels, a notorious social media collective and influencer group that gained widespread internet attention during the early to mid-2010s. At the same time, the mention of intrusive thoughts could also be interpreted as a nod to the podcast X, co-hosted by Callie Storm, who's publicly been associated with Taz's Angels. Now, I was thinking, what's this Taz's Angels thing all about? Let me check that. All right. So, yeah, this lyric raised a few eyebrows, okay? And based on this, all right, wait a minute. No, that's Chad the Builder. Hang on. Look, this is one of the last people I would want to get information from, but he's putting himself on the front line with this stuff right now, okay? This Dijon, he's having a little motion right now exposing some of this stuff, and come to find out, he got the goods on this one, okay? So basically, all right, he says, why does no one ever talk about how model and actress Ashley Martell shared photos of her blackened eye and battered face and accused TDE co-founder Anthony Top Dog Tiffith Sr. of abusing her? So that's Top Dog, who was Kendrick's right-hand man for many years, was a big part of him, managing him, running his label, all that kind of thing. Some say he was extorting Kendrick, but anyway, all right. Dijon's saying, why doesn't nobody talk about how this woman, who I'm about to tell you, she one of Taz's Angels, she's saying that Kendrick's label boss was putting hands on her, give her a black, all crazy stuff. These are just allegations, all right? Let's hear what he said.
Ashley Martell has surfaced where she's claiming the hip-hop mogul and TDE label owner physically abused her. She even shared photographic evidence after making a tweet alleging the physical abuse. For those of you who don't know, Ashley Martell is a popular internet personality and model who is best known for being a part of Taz's Angels. She has over 1 million followers on Instagram. She's pretty viral. And so I'm surprised that no other hip-hop media platforms, especially the one on the West Coast, have covered this topic at all. But anyways, so on July 19th, Ashley tweeted liar, cheater, and abuser and tagged Top Dog's personal Twitter. I think his personal Twitter is like Ed Danger, Root, Powwow, whatever that means. He clearly was.
Now, here's the crazy thing to this, right? Here's the crazy part to this, right? That happened in 2024. I know you're saying to yourself, what's that got to do anything? 2024 is when the beef happens. The Ashley Martell thing is the same time that happened. Now, coincidentally, when we went over the video about Baby Keem's girl being the one that was the minor in Turks and Caicos, it didn't come across to me, of course, this information yet, but if you correlate the two, this information is why Kendrick left TDE. Kendrick got wind of the Taz Angels. Let me come on camera to say this one. So the real reason, listen to this. Found out Punch was shopping for girls in the human trafficking ring. I'm gonna say it again. He found out that Punch was shopping for girls in the human trafficking ring. That is why Kendrick left TDE and Punch and did PG Lang his own thing. Because remember, everybody kept saying, "Oh, it wasn't over no label beef. It wasn't no he ain't putting the albums out or he ain't paying nobody." It was none of that. It wasn't over any of that. And Kendrick said it himself. It was over It was over disagreements, personal disagreements. No, Punch, not Top Dog. Punch. But Punch is the one that got caught shopping for the women. Kendrick got wind of that shit. Because remember, he specifically talks about on Meet the Grams, there's some industry shit going on, and these celebrity niggas here to police this shit. Kendrick got wind of that trafficking ring through what he found out with TD, what he found out about Punch. He realized Punch was in that trafficking ring and said, "Oh, I gotta." And remember, specifically, he said he had the minor was hanging out with one of the girls from Taz Angels. That's how she ended up in Turks and Caicos in the first place with Drake. That's why Drake decided to say, random intrusive thought, what happened to Taz Angels? He knows the fucking girl that Baby Keem was dating came from Taz Angels.
Was a danger to her because she also took to Instagram to post a very graphic, obscene photo of her blackened and bloody eye and battered face. Ashley Martell has surfaced.
Pretty crazy, right? So we're thinking, what the hell is this all about? They in the comments talking about TDE stands for Top Domestic Violence Entertainment. They talk about stands for Top Diddy Entertainment. They're saying Kendrick Lamar and his TD affiliate should be locked up, man. They going off on the deep end with this one. But let's take a rewind back, all right? And before we get deeper into those allegations, let's just get a bit more of an understanding of what this Taz Angels thing is all about, okay? So apparently this was a modeling agency. Modeling agency. If you've followed the channel with the Epstein files, you'll know there's always a little modeling agency when it comes to this trafficking shit, right? But this is apparently a modeling agency founded in 2011, and it actually helped pioneer the kind of Instagram model archetype. And I'll give you some background about them right here.
Welcome back to 2011. Steve Jobs just died, Party Rock Anthem is climbing the charts, and a bizarre new Instagram page is about to take the world by storm. Founded by a one-hit wonder record producer, Taz's Angels seemingly blew up overnight, and suddenly they were rubbing shoulders with A-list stars while showcasing a non-stop party lifestyle in their Miami mansion. Until one day, the party stopped, and as quickly as they burst onto the scene, the world collectively forgot about them. But there's a reason Taz's Angels disappeared from the internet, and why its former members have spent years burying that part of their history. Because beneath the tank tops, snapbacks, and Instagram filters, something much darker was allegedly taking place. Although nothing has ever been officially confirmed, business records, leaked information, broken NDAs, and even song lyrics suggest that Taz's Angels may have been offering high-end services for celebrities, hiding in plain sight and disguising advertisements for their availability as social media posts. And if the rumors are true, this doesn't just recontextualize their rise to fame, but implicate several A-list stars as their clients. This is the story they've spent a decade trying to bury. This is the part of internet history you were never meant to remember. This is the story of Taz's Angels. In 2002, a music producer by the name Michael Taz Williams found success with Kia's My Neck, My Back. The song reached number 44 on the Billboard Hot 100 and stayed there for 18 weeks. However, unfortunately for Taz, this would be his first and only hit. Needing to find money elsewhere, he reportedly founded a company called Gigolo Enterprises, a so-called consulting firm that, depending on who you asked, sounded a lot more like an escort service than anything else. Regardless, Taz was no longer chasing a career in music, and instead was assembling a team for what would eventually become Taz's Angels.
So, essentially, right, they're saying it's a one-hit wonder music producer that started this little operation It was meant to look like a sort of social media influencer kind of outfit, but then behind the scenes, they're saying that it might be a trafficking operation, some kind of digital brothel where they're basically pimping out these chicks to some of the most successful and famous people around the world. Low key, this like an Instagram Epstein. All right. And so apparently this group had several core members who I'll show you in this part of the video.
And in 2011, the group would debut on Instagram with the following lineup. Catherine Portes, aka Kat DeGreat, known as the head angel and often referred to as the house mom by other women. It appears Kat had extra responsibilities from the rest of the group, such as recruiting future members, running the house, and allegedly fulfilling a sort of madame role in the group. Then came
a sort of
Kenya Lopez, aka Kinky. This was Kat's first recruit and someone she allegedly met while working as a dancer, Annabella Carrasco, aka AB. It's speculated that AB was recruited shortly after graduating high school, and that instead of pursuing a career in nursing as she had planned, she allegedly walked away from that path to join Taz's Angels. Next came Lena and Ruby Sayed. Allegedly, Taz wanted a pair of twins in the group, but unable to find any, he settled for sisters instead. And finally, Ashley Martell, someone who was allegedly working as a dancer before being recruited. It's important to note that while these women formed the core of Taz's Angels, there was always a rotating cast of others moving in and out of the group, some staying for months, others disappearing after only a few weeks. But
so basically, right, they would use Instagram to kind of showcase their whole lifestyle and everything they were doing and this sort of glamorous Taz's Angels thing they had going on. And they would use Snapchat specifically to post unfiltered content. And basically everyone kind of feels like these guys are the pioneers of, you know, baddies, bad girls, girls on Instagram. You know, let's not get too...
So pretty much, as you can see, there's this gentleman named Taz. No problem. I got you, man. I got you, man. Pretty much, there's this girl. There's this guy named Taz that was running Miami. Pretty much I guess you could say, an industry pimp, right? One of the industry pimps in the nations, right? In the globe, I guess you could say, right? Had his own little string of girls that was pretty much going around recruiting other women. Like I said, running his own little, pretty much legal celebrity pimp ring. Right? His own little Jeffrey Epstein thing. And these girls pretty much was getting a little bit too loud with their money. That's literally how, the same thing that happened with Frank Lucas showing up with the mink at the fight. They got a little too loud with the money. And that's how they ended up getting caught.
Offensive, but, you know, bad chicks on Instagram that low-key, like, the Instagram's basically, you know, the window at the red light district in Amsterdam type shit.
But it wasn't until they launched their Snapchat that things really exploded. Instagram showed the fantasy, but Snapchat gave fans the uncensored chaos. With the lighter terms of service, they were suddenly able to post far riskier content, and they took full advantage of it. Nudity, fights, and unfiltered behind-the-scenes moments became part of the feed. Material that today would likely live behind a paywall on sites like OF.
They had the spicy content before spicy content was a thing. They were doing the IG model thing before it was a thing. They recruited the girls who you see today who have big platforms.
In many ways, Taz's Angels were helping define a new online archetype. Long before baddie culture became mainstream, they were already packaging hypersexualized glamour, luxury aesthetics, and constant visibility into a marketable identity. What feels normal on social media now was, at the time, something they were helping invent. And the group would capitalize on this by launching a clothing line called Caviar Black.
So they got all the clout, they got all the motion, all right? They're launching clothing lines, all this type of stuff, okay? So they're really taking off and they're having some success. But as we can see behind the scenes, things aren't really quite the way that they're supposed to be, okay? But they keep getting bigger and bigger, and that's when, you know, the Taz's Angels, they start expanding. They pull in a larger network of affiliates, and some of their models start getting linked to celebrities. And then we start seeing, you know, that sort of Epstein-style thing where now the bad girls are being controlled by Taz's Angels. The celebrities want to be seen with the bad girls, and they're getting allegedly trafficked to these guys.
Taz's Angels began pulling in a wider circle of women, ones who weren't full-time members living in the house, but were closely tied to the group. These women became known as affiliates. These were models and influencers like Mila Jasmine, Chantel Jeffries, Demi Rose, Jade Pierce, Catherine Pays, and Annalicia Chavez, aka Anna Montana. They didn't live in the mansion, but they were often in the orbit, flying in for parties, appearing in photos and Snapchat stories, wearing caviar black, and blending seamlessly into the group's online image. If you didn't understand the inner politics of Taz's Angels, you would assume they were full members. And as more of these affiliates began cycling in and out, Taz's Angels was no longer just a small closed-off group. It was becoming something bigger, a rotating ecosystem built around access, attention, and opportunity. As their online following grew, Taz's Angels began showing up at high-profile nightclub events across Miami and Los Angeles. These were often hosted by promoters connected to major rappers, athletes, and industry figures. Almost overnight, the group was being photographed in VIP sections alongside some of the biggest names in entertainment: Drake, Amber Rose, Fat Joe, DJ Khaled, and later, even an 18-year-old Kylie Jenner and a 19-year-old Hailey Baldwin. For a
Drake
names in entertainment, Drake.
You want to talk about Taz's Angels being seen in the club with Drake? You want to talk about the trafficking operation? Not like us, they've been seen around Drake. Well, Drake's now the one exposing these people, okay? So as early as 2015...
He's pretty much letting it be known now. That's why he nonchalantly said, oh, what happened to Taz's Angels? That's why he nonchalantly said it. Because he was a part of the ring. Remember when everybody had the theory of Drake was going to be the next Diddy? And you could literally see it in Drake's lifestyle of him just having the fixation of having so many women around. And then we went over the mole board and found out about him having the dog mask parties with the what the dog mask really represented, and him having the Dubois parties where these women were throwing up and taking money and whatnot, him having these orgy parties. It's because he knew about the lifestyle. He knew about the ring. He pretty much was going to be the next guy as far as the big fish like Diddy that was getting the girls. And because he got dismissed. Oh, good night. Good night, Life of a Sneaker Mama. Have a good one. But because he knows, like I said, because he was a part of the ring, he's able now to expose it. He can pretty much do what he wants now. As far as letting all the information out. He has nothing to lose, right? They've already devalued his career. He has nothing to lose anymore. He can say what he wants now.
All right. Early as 2015, only 4 years after it allegedly started, that's when stories already started circulating about what was really happening behind the scenes with Taz's Angels, all right? This weren't no Charlie's Angels, all right? This weren't no Instagram. This weren't no Clout House, all right? This some dark shit. So this says, Lord, this is an old deleted article. Lord, someone just spilled all the tea on Taz Angels, right? Famulous received a tip from a Taz Angels prospect who lived in with the Angels. I can't say her name because she doesn't want any trouble. She signed a non-disclosure agreement, but she writes, I was one of the Taz Angels prospects in the last recent months, and that house is something crazy. It goes beyond typical partying you see on Snapchat into some darker shit. Basically, when you get to the house, you get pulled to the side by Kat the Great in private. She starts giving you some ghetto motivation talk, telling you how privileged you are to ever see the other side of those doors and that you have to do some things to say thank you to Taz. She said, maybe I'll be privileged enough to meet Taz, but before she finished, I had to hurry up and get dressed. She told me to make sure that my pee is nice, good and clean, because I'm going to be using it. Good Lord. They take our phones at the beginning of the trip so we can't take any pictures, only when they tell us so we can take pictures. I was confused what she meant because I didn't come to have S. When they came to my country, they said they'll fly me in for fun partying in the Miami lifestyle. Well, we went to Club Live, and the girls drink a lot, more than I've ever seen from many men. And when we got back home, we went into one of the rooms that has a pole, and girls started dancing, and they were Snapchatting and stuff. So I thought that whole pee clean thing was a joke. Well, then they put the phones away, sent a couple of girls home, that came from the club, and Annabella started to kiss me. I went along with it. I like girls also, so it was nice. But as things progressed, Kat came in a black leather outfit with Taz, and each girl takes turns eating her pee and effing Taz. When it came my turn to F Taz, Kat told me I better show him what I can do because I'm lucky to have this opportunity. So I had S with Taz, but I wasn't allowed to do it long, which I was happy about because Kat started to push us away. The assistant was there also, and she just turned a blind eye. Nobody is allowed to look at Taz either, and he won't take off his sunglasses. Well, the prospects don't get their own room. It wasn't just me there were 2 others, and we were all forced to share a bed, which was uncomfortable because we weren't deserving. I realized that Cat sells a dream, and so many fall for it. They also made us earn everything, even the food they ordered. You had to do things for Taz to eat or shop. Since I didn't have a phone or a car, I had to do the things. They gave us back our phones on occasion when friends would text us just to make it seem like everything was going perfect, but they aren't very nice people at all. Why do you think so many people leave? I was literally an S slave in the house, and there's something really off about Taz. He doesn't speak, doesn't make eye contact or anything, not even to old woman Kat. She's in her 30s, by the way. They were talking about her 30th birthday party from a while ago, I heard in the next room. I was literally an S slave in the house, and there's something really off. Oh, we already read that. You have to be desperate to be in that house, but that's all I really have to say. They're not good people. They'll get you drunk and drugged up and violate you, but I won't press charges or anything because some of it was consensual, but they don't respect anybody, not even their own. They were mean to each other also, especially the Arabic one. Their bodies are not that nice in person either, and Kat has a recessed chin. The second girl who confirmed her story told Famulous, back in November, I moved to Miami for a little over 2 months. A friend of mine warned me about them, so needless to say, I met AB one night at Live while she was making out with my now deceased friend Marjana Pahar from America's Next Top Model. But anyway, I went over and said hi to Marjana and exchanged numbers with AB, got to play the game right. Well, one evening, not a club night, I went over to see AB and asked her straight up about this lifestyle that her and Ashley Martell both talked to
And you know who AB is? AB is The Weeknd. Abel.
Night, both 19, both had been there for 3 years. Do the math. They said we find bitches and bring them to house to F Taz, then us. I said, oh, so your sister wives. AB said, didn't think of that, but yes, exactly. As I was getting ready to leave.
Just to reiterate, yes. AB is The Weeknd. Yeah. So, yes, Drake was set to be the next Diddy and the next Gatekeeper. In a nutshell. He did want everybody out. He didn't necessarily care about everybody being out the way because he already was running things. When you're already the main guy, you're already seen as the hottest guy and you're the main guy running shit. You don't necessarily care about the older guys that's in the way because they weren't necessarily in his way of things. But Jay being who Jay is, saying, oh, I do see what y'all trying to do here as far as removing me and Diddy. So I'm going to throw a little chess play in here too myself. That's what happens with Dr. Dre getting Kendrick Lamar and Lucian Grainge. You see what I'm getting at? So, yeah. Pretty much in a nutshell. Pretty much in a nutshell there.
I was getting blocked in a very childlike voice. AB said, oh no, you can't go so soon. But I drove myself there, so I wasn't staying longer. Ashley, sweet girl, but dumb as rocks. AB's brainwashed. Kat is just rude. As far as I know, some celebs they have effed as well. Kat has tried to put me on to the weekend at their house party. Kat tried to put me on to the weekend. So they're saying Kat tried to traffic her to the weekend, basically. At their house party for the weekend during New Year's week of partying. I wasn't even allowed to leave with taking tons of Hennessy to the face with AB once we arrived to the club. So when Drake's on his album talking about whatever happened to Taz's Angels, he low-key digging at the weekend too. Hey, Weekend. Abel. What's going on with these chicks getting trafficked to your crib? Or your house party? Well, house party for the weekend. Maybe it wasn't at his house. What's going on with the chicks getting trafficked to the weekend? I thought it was not like us. Now we'd not like Jeff. Anyway, says it seems Taz figured out I was the new goal for the girls and made me be in their section and would force shots down my throat. That same night, a girl with another promo group was getting shit-faced with them, and they threw her in the back of the SUV with them after Live and took her back to the house for hours, 4 a.m. and so on. I tried to go get the girl because I knew it would be bad. Taz uses Viagra and they have set scheduled times to have S with him. Wait a minute. They all have to get outfits they buy approved first.
What does that sound like?
First, Leonardo DiCaprio is always a friend of theirs. Whoa, people are not feeling the way Leonardo DiCaprio conducts his relationships. So I don't. Anyway,
Leonardo DiCaprio, Mr. Get rid of him when they turn 25. Nastiest nigga alive.
They came to NYC and after partied. I happened to be at the same after party till 6 a.m. and literally Ashley and AB have to just sit and constantly tweet all night for celebs and rich men twerk. Taz is very, very mean. Lord have mercy. Little man complex or something. AB accidentally tripped and Taz completely embarrassed and insulted her in front of everyone at Live. He asked for a cig and my friend tried to give him one. He grabbed it and looked at it and then looked at her, snapped it in half and said, "Move this bitch." He has a huge security guard for himself all the time. So that's crazy. All right. Weekend. Abel. What's going on? What's going on with the chicks getting trafficked to you, bud? What's that all about? Drake, let us know, man. Let us know in the next song, in the next 3 albums. But anyway, okay, that was 2015. So they're being exposed for doing creepy trafficking shit. But by 2017, apparently the entire operation was truly exposed as being one big alleged prostitution ring. No, not Amber Rose. Anyway, Taz's Angels, the new face of...
Are you really surprised that Kanye West's original handler, Amber Rose, the one that even confirmed, I'm the one that influenced him to go up on the stage and say what he said about and Beyonce. But Beyonce had the greatest album of all time. Amber confirmed she did it. But anyway, yeah. Are you really surprised that Amber Rose, the mother of Wiz Khalifa's baby mother that also dated Kanye West and played with Kanye baby mother. Are you really surprised?
Prostitution. This is HollywoodStreetKing.com, okay? So let's see. This is about to get down and dirty. Shout out to Drake for bringing this to the public's attention, man. Drizzy dropping dimes. Anyway, details surrounding the man behind the Miami circle of Snapchatting and twerking Insta vixens, collectively known as Taz's Angels, could be a fitting portrayal of pimping in today's social media era. His name is Michael J. Williams, aka Taz, a mid-40s New York native who describes himself as being the Black Hugh Hefner and the Chosen One. He wasn't the chosen one in the music industry when he was a one-hit wonder. The chosen one-hit wonder, maybe. And whose sources say is now the biggest pimp and sex trafficker in the game right now. But long before the 2010 debut of Instagram, before he first recruited Black China, and before Taz and his Angels set up shop in a rented Miami mansion in 2014, Taz's Angels birthed a boot camp reported to give way...
Stop right there. You know who Black China's linked to, Tiger? The Kardashians.
To training to service the likes of what? He birthed a boot camp that was supposed to train the girls to service the likes of a bunch of celebrities. So Taz was a struggling music producer. Don't believe me, just ask Kia. So this is Taz's Angels. This is him having a meeting with his angels, I guess. And it says, Taz's Angels. Every day we have a meeting held by Taz. In these meetings, we discuss any issues we may have with each other, upcoming events, dates.
Here's the other kicker to this. Here's the real kicker to this, man. What else can Kendrick say about Drake?
Business and anything that has to do with the house is how we keep our family tight and how he likes to keep us focused, right? So his only hit known to this day is Kia's My Neck, My Back. As a music producer, Michael J. Williams was the director of Taz Productions, Inc., according to Florida State Records, revealing that Lutz, Florida, was a suburb of Tampa, was the home of his production company. 2 other Williams, reported to be Taz parents, are listed as figures connected to the production company that's said to be currently inactive. Guess what? Taz Productions, Inc. appears to be a business venture that's since been replaced, records reveal, as Michael J. Williams opened Gigolo Enterprises, LLC in 2010, describing the business as being a small, fairly new consulting company in Lutz, Florida, which, with the Williams reported to be the names of Taz parents listed as the 2 employees of Gigolo Enterprises, okay? But people are saying he runs the biggest escort services in Miami. One of them, Taz's Angels, formerly known as Gigolos, is basically a bunch of butter-faced escorts with no boobs and cellulite asses living in one unfurnished house together, making club appearances and twerk videos here and there. That's savage. So it says it was between the time that Taz shut down his production company and the time he became a gigolo, when sources say that the New Yorker turned Floridian made the acquaintance of Kat, aka Catherine Dawes, reported to be the madam and house mother of Taz's Angels. Word from an inside source reveals that Kat was recruited by Taz while she was working at Neiman Marcus in Tampa. So that's Happy Father's Day to the best daddy in the world, Taz. It just sounds like he's just a void of charisma. Anyway. Check it. He put Kat to work in a strip club in Tampa, working 7 days a week. Sometimes she cried to the other strippers because she was so tired, but she wouldn't dare go home because she was afraid of Taz. What a great man, right? What just striking fear into these women. I hate guys like this, man. Anyway, at the time, she didn't have a driver's license, so she was dependent on him to pick her up. She was trying to recruit other girls by bringing them home and letting them sleep with Taz. She then recruited Kinky and Taz Angels begun. Catherine Dawes, there you go. According to TazAngels.net, Taz sets up the Taz Angels girls as escorts for ballers, celebrities, and athletes. He groups the girls into a house, gives them a lot of money, clothes, shoes, and of course, drugs and alcohol. The only thing they have to do is stay in shape and go out when he wants them to. Dig the drop. Taz is the biggest pimp in the game right now, and his bitches ain't going to run to the police and snitch on him because he treats his girls well. He has the girls coming in from France to chill with him, international trafficking, and he gives the model the game before he ships her out to the Bahamas to see other high-profile tricks. International trafficking operation. What the fuck are we doing here? So anyway, all of the information, blah, 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 blah. So that's it. Is that the end of the article? To be a pimp is one thing, but if his is the business of kidnapping people and forcing them into sexual slavery as a human trafficker, then I hope someone kills this dude. I'm not condoning that. But I don't know. I must admit that missed the part about kidnapping. It's the oldest profession, and it will still be going strong. It says, source say the biggest pimp and sex trafficker. I'm sure you're familiar with human trafficking, right? Sex trafficking is the law that you get charged with when it's pimping. Doesn't matter if she signed a contract or begged to work. It's labeled human they're talking about getting girls from all around the world. It's crazy. Okay. Anyway, it is crazy. Okay. So here's the alleged Madam Cat. All right. Discussing recruitment in this S trafficking ring, allegedly.
Hey guys, this is Taz Angels Cat, and I'm here at the Taz House of Angels, and tonight we're getting ready to go out. We're gonna go recruit tonight. We're going to live, and there should be some bad bitches in there tonight. There's always bad bitches that live. What we do when we recruit typically is, you know, we put on a motherfucking Sunday's Best, and yeah, this is my Sunday's Best. Bad Bitches Link Up Tea by Caviar Black. If it doesn't say Caviar Black, that shit is whack, and you a motherfucking corny ass bitch for rocking some fake shit in the first place. Yes, you bitch. You motherfucking whack ass bitches rocking that fake BBLU shit. We see you, you motherfucking raggedy ass hoes.
So this to me is an example of possibly the most disgusting and evil type of woman that could possibly exist. This is a self-obsessed, image-obsessed, just trash human being. And her job is to go out and recruit vulnerable, unsuspecting young women into this disgusting S trafficking operation. This is a scumbag, all right? This woman should be ashamed of herself. She's scum, all right? She's evil. I don't care if you want to be polyamorous. You can have as many partners as you want, many relationships as you want. Just be honest with people, right? Don't cheat on your girl. Don't be going behind her back, all right? You want to do some freaky shit. You want to get your Diddy party on. You want to have an orgy at the crib. Go do your thing, all right? Don't hurt anyone. But this scumbag, she is recruiting people unwittingly into a sex trafficking operation that they don't want to be part of. It sounds abusive. The guy at the center of it don't even seem charismatic. Don't even take his sunglasses off, bro. You're going to start a sex cult. At least take your glasses off and put in some eye contact and like have some aura about you. That Taz guy looks like a fucking lame. And this woman is a piece of shit. So I'm just letting you know, okay? So apparently, all right, this, you know, as I said, right, the Taz Angels were apparently in a poly-fly relationship. They were all dating Taz himself, which again, if that's how you want to run your life, that's cool. But don't be having recruiters going to the club, coercing people into joining and getting them drunk, which would lead to statutory R charges, in my opinion, if you want to.
So here's the thing, right? Yes, he could definitely, you know, do that on the last out. Kendrick could definitely do that in the last album. I believe that's why he also named that album Damn. Because it sounded like it was it was him stepping into a zone of realization. Wasn't it? It's him stepping into a field of damn, I see what the industry really is doing behind the scenes, right? If he was going to do that, he would have been did it. So it's exposing the industry. Because he can't do it right now because then that's necessarily biting the hand that just fed him.
Go that far. If you get these girls drunk and bringing them home, they're recruiting them, bringing them home, they don't even know what's going on. You are the R word, is how I would see it. But anyway, this is the polycule background.
You got girls had a little sister. How would you explain a poly relationship and bisexuality to her? Well, we actually both have little sisters. So, sister, wife, go ahead.
So basically, to my little sister, I just explained
how I feel. Me and my little sister kind of always been open with each other.
You told her that I was your girlfriend?
I said that, yeah, I'm one of them. That we were all just girlfriends, Taz's girlfriends. That's what I explained to her. And of course, you know, she was like, you know, how can you do that? Or like, she had the questions that everyone else has because we grew up thinking a certain way that a relationship should be a certain. When it came to, like I said, we were already like open with each other, so she already knew, you know, when I lost my virginity and things like that, she already knew all of that.
So you weren't a virgin when you got down with us?
I don't know, you tell me. But yeah, Riders, her butt, since I wasn't talking to my family, they kind of were getting in her head with a lot of bullshit. So she just looked at it. She was actually also believing all the prostitution rumors. So
yeah, I did, and it's probably why they got taken down and put back up. A couple of videos is out. It's a little interesting that Link saw the Taz Angels even more. Two things. Ben the Don, someone that's very close to Drake, right? This video is from a month ago. He asks Chantel Jeffries about Taz Angels documentary.
My friend Toda. What's up, my friend? How are you? Nice to meet you. You good? That's fucking crazy. Good. Yeah, I don't give a damn. Yeah, you wanna go golfing together when you're in Miami?
My first time having Raising Cane's, I DJ'd at the opening in Times Square. And they brought me Raising Cane's while I was eating. I was like, wait, why is this literally? It's been a long weekend of recruitment for the team. We've had Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Everyone's recruiting who's going to be the fans of their team.
Really?
Look at it.
Wow. Wow. That's how easy it was? That's
Who you got for the game?
I'm just here to stream. I don't even know who the fuck's playing. Tom Brady.
Tom Brady's the founder.
Yeah, founders.
The Wildcats.
Dale's on Tom Brady's team.
Okay.
Yep, so I guess I'll take that.
What, Wildcats, Joe Burrow, and Hill?
Yep. Joe Burrow, Saquon.
Saquon, okay, so I'm going Wildcats.
Yeah.
Sorry, Odell.
Wow. Wow. That's how easy it was? That's how easy it was?
It's been a long weekend of recruitment for the team. We've had Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Everyone's recruiting who's going to be the fans of their team.
Really?
I mean...
Gorgeous.
I'm Travis finished smashing laptop.
I am watching the game, chat.
There's no game happening right this second.
They're walking back out.
Pretty much, even though Taz's Angels is not around anymore, that doesn't mean that there aren't other rings that these celebrities are still attached to and doing business for.
This is my...
Rest in peace to Herb Gotti, by the way. You in love with a call girl. Shorty was one of Taz's Angels. Shake my head. You just kiss her in the mouth. You got to get your life together, sucker. Pretty much the girl right here was part of our Taz's Angels. Like I said, rest in peace to Herb Gotti, by the way.
This is my friend. 50 Cent, my friend. You my husband. You my husband. And I'm married. And this day to 50 Cent. Yeah? Yeah.
Okay, we ain't got to look at that whole thing.
The girls were often seen wearing matching outfits, promoting similar beauty brands, and living under the same roof. They insisted the group wasn't about prostitution or escorting, but the speculation never stopped. Because as the group's fame exploded, so did the rumors. Many questioned how the group made money outside of club appearances and social media posts, because there was no clear business model ever outlined. Former Angel Ashley Martell, in particular, began speaking out about the toxic dynamics and claimed the lifestyle was not what it appeared. Her statements led to more public scrutiny and intensified the rumors of exploitation. And as scrutiny intensified, law enforcement began to take an interest. There were whispers that federal agencies was watching Taz, possibly investigating sex trafficking or financial crimes. Though no charges were ever officially filed, the group's activities slowed down significantly around 2016, and their social media presence started to decline.
Okay, so again, in a nutshell, just because the Taz Angels are not around anymore does not mean there are other trafficking rings that these celebrities are not still filtering things through. So I noticed Drake also has his own little new channel too, where he hid the Iceman videos. Champagne Poppy. I find it funny. This little commercial that he had was in here too for his cologne that no one has really seen. He has a new cologne coming out.
Fuck, that's good. That's it. That's it.
Has his own little commercial with his cologne. So he's definitely doing things a lot more independently now, as you can see. Pray for the boy. Well, not. It's up to you. But definitely, pray for the boy because things are about to get very, very interesting, to say the least. Things are about to get very, very interesting when it comes to Drake in these coming months. We've been here about 3.5 hours already. Let's see. I guess we can knock it out there. It's 3 a.m. My time is 4 a.m. Some of y'all. So I guess we could definitely knock it out there. And hopefully next time you guys see me, we might have a different arrangement set up. As I said before, I'm working on that. Yes, good night, my brother. Good night, good night. Thank everybody for coming in once again. Man 90, 9040, Life of Sneaker Mama. Who else is up in here? Oh, and if you'd like to donate to the podcast, anything and everything helps at all. The Cash App is there, Chill Murray 1. If you guys would love to donate to the pod, I would greatly appreciate it. It always goes a long way. It all goes a long way. It helps me out a lot because I don't get these videos in my time. So, who else was up in here? DJ Big Gang, Artemis Flair, Bees. Who's this? Oh, Bees the Dream. What a Man. Fantomos Fanto, Marcus Lloyd, Icon Vonnie. I know you was up in here. Swayze World. Trying to make sure I don't miss anybody. David Tarantino. Amina Amin. Take everybody on the mind's eye. Flash White. Let me do my scroll down. Make sure I ain't miss anybody. I said Life of a Sneaker Mama. I believe I got everybody. Cushness. What's going on? Seven Paris, do you think it's over for Drake once the UMG lawsuit is over? It's already over for Drake. That's the thing. It's already over for him. There's nothing left for him. if Drake does decide to put out any more projects, it is solely off of the strength of Drake. As he displayed here with this last rollout with this Iceman album, UMG didn't pay for a dime of it. And Drake did this all independently. And niggas is still talking about the album for a week. This ain't happening in quite a while. The power of Drake is still in the power of Drake. So right now, it ain't by design that he got everybody talking about. So like I said, if he's able to still have this same power after a Kendrick Lamar decides to come back outside and play, that part remains to be seen. But as far as him being, over, I think it's already over as far as him being, the number one guy in music. That part's over. And him doing the $2 billion equity deal, that also just solidifies that, the Drake on the billboards is over. That hit run Drake is gone. And even he said it. He's solidified in his villain ways. He's understood already. He's like, all right, y'all want me out of here? Fine. I'll go. Burn this bitch down when I go with me, but I'll go. And y'all see how this shit turned out without me. Y'all want Kendrick to be the guy? Let him be the guy then. I'll go away. That's another part that I don't think anybody realized. He's literally just said, all right, y'all want me to go away? I'll go away. I'd be happy to go away. Let him do what he do and see what y'all do without me in this music business. The guy that was putting the asses in the seats and all the money into the industry. Y'all see what happened. But on that note, I'm going to get my ass on out of here. I thank y'all for tuning in. It's been real. As always, keep your third eye open and your head on a swivel. Always remember, fact is never fiction. Until next motherfucking time, I bid you all adieu. And peace.
What's this? What's this?
What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about?
Raggedy bitch. Some shit like that. That me. But no. What it is you really do.
Shimmer, 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 shimmer. bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
Ladies and gentlemen,